Western 4 Sports presents the Western Hockey League. Tonight, from Queen's Park Arena in New Westminster, it's the New Westminster Bruins against the Victoria Cougars. It's been a big weekend for the Bruins. They've won 2 straight hockey games, but before that, they had not won since our last televised game against Seattle in overtime. Behind the net, Nichols centering it. Here's a chance. Dumas shot is blocked by McPherson. Back the other way. Barnes with Lebrun 2-on-1. Barnes centering it. Scores! That was a big game-winning goal in overtime against the Seattle Thunderbirds. After that, the Bruins headed back east. They went on the prairies and ended up going without a victory on the prairies, and 9 games in total without a win. But that's changed this weekend. Friday night, they beat Kamloops 9-4. Last night, they beat Victoria by a score of 6-4. One of the more improved hockey players is Mike Hawes. We asked him a few moments ago about the slump. Mike Hawes, 2 wins in a row. Is the slump over?
Yeah, I think the slump's over. We're really working hard trying to get out of the slump. Before Christmas and the first few games after, we were really struggling. The guys were down, and in the dressing room, we started getting up for the games more, and I think the slump's over now, yeah.
In your assessment, what were you doing that led to so many losses?
I think it was, we're an aggressive team. I think we stopped hitting. In the last 2 games, you notice we've had quite a few hits. Against Kamloops 2 games ago, we had over 50 hits, and that really helped us in that game. And last night in Victoria, we were bumping them pretty good. So I think we weren't hitting as much, and now we're starting to get back to our aggressive style, and it's coming through for us.
I'm told you're playing perhaps your best hockey of the season. Do you feel that?
Yeah, before the break, I thought I wasn't playing as well as I could have, and coming over from Spokane, I felt I had a little too much pressure on myself, and I went home at the break, and I just said to myself, well, just take a little bit of that pressure off yourself, and that's what I did, and I came back with a totally different attitude after Christmas.
All right, 3rd game in 3 nights, 2nd in a row against Victoria. What do you expect tonight?
I expect a similar game to last night. Last night was a very physical game, lots of bumping and grinding, and we had to work really hard for our goals. I expect the same thing tonight.
Now we welcome to our telecast our color commentator, Bill Wilms. Bill, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. Hey, nothing like a victory against Kamloops a couple of nights ago to break a slump.
It really turned things around, at least temporarily, for the weekend. We were saying before the game that the difference conceivably between losing 3 and winning 3 this weekend could be between 3 points and 13 points in terms of being closer to Victoria. So they've really started to turn things around with a win Friday night and a win Saturday night, and hopefully they can keep it going tonight.
We're going to have a peek at some of the highlights from Friday night's 9-4 victory over the Kamloops Blazers.
You see here a back pass to their own blue line, which has kind of been the trouble, and a defenseman caught right at the center ice area allows Norton, number 15 for the Kamloops, for their outstanding winger, to go in free on that particular goal there. Gregoire, Bill Gregoire will get his first goal here for the since joining the New West Bruins. Shawn Barnes, watch the cleverness of this pass right here. This is what all good goal scorers are able to do. Watch him feed him right in front through all that traffic, and that's Gregoire's first goal in a Bruin uniform. Some good passing here by the youngster from Delta, Steve Rennie. You'll get a pass back to Lebrun. Watch that back pass there. Upper corner, not only was the pass great, but Lebrun did an outstanding job of putting that puck upstairs on his backhand. Mike Needham, number 14 for the Kamloops team here, does an outstanding job of a pass there, and watch that shot over Woodley's right shoulder. He had absolutely no chance on that one whatsoever. You'll see a lot of traffic in front of the net right here. Watch this. Everybody ends up in the net. Mike Hawes, number 12, your pregame guest, ends up with the credit for that goal, as I think everybody went in the net, including Mike Hawes himself. Hawes comes back, gets a pretty nice play here on the rebound. Look at that stick work by Stuart Sage. And standing right in front, put the puck in, is number 12, and he celebrates accordingly. This is an unbelievable forechecking effort. Watch 18. Lebrun picks up the puck. Now look at that flip pass. The puck settles right on the ice for Pat Bingham, who drills it over the goalkeeper. We're going in a hurry here, folks. You got to watch quickly. Number 4, Davies, gets credit for a goal there through a whole bunch of traffic. Calvin Nibbs, number 17 for the Bruins, a player acquired recently, really gets, I believe, his first goal for the Bruins here. And it's the end of just a 3-way rushing play. There's Rennie with the shot. Nibbs will come in here with the rebound. He finishes it off, and it's good to see the youngster score. Some puck mishandling at the blue line right there, Kamloops' own blue line, and you'll see Jason Moore just absolutely rip this thing. Watch this. Hello, wham, upper corner. And Jason certainly can't shoot that puck. Greg Spenrath, keep your eyes on 26 White. He'll finish off this play, and another back pass by Rennie. Watch 21, he'll get the puck right there. Watch the back pass. Spenrath ends up putting it in the short side, and that ended up finishing off a big win by the Bruins.
A big one it was, and they followed that up last night with a 6-4 victory against the Cougars, and tonight they're going to play their third game in 3 nights, the second of a doubleheader against the Cougars. We're going to look at tonight's matchup in a moment, but in general, what kind of hockey game are you expecting?
Well, it's hard to say. It really is. I mean, we've been able to predict a lot of games that have taken place in this building. We've seen some very good Eastern teams come in here, and I think really we've been able to call some of the play. But this one, I don't know. I think it's up for grabs. I really thought Victoria would have won that game last night, and I thought the Bruins would have come back and win tonight. But hey, it's hard to tell. But I expect a good effort from the Cougars.
All right, we're looking at tonight's matchup now. The goaltending we have given. Because the Bruins are playing Dusty Imoo, their backup goaltender, we are going to go with the Victoria Cougars.
Well, you're looking at an all-star. Peter Fry made the all-star team last year for the Victoria Cougars, and he's a draft. I would say that when you got that kind of background, you have to say you've got the advantage in goaltending. But hey, this Imoo, he can come up with some big games himself.
All right, the next category is offensive play. And that's a bit of a tough one, but the Bruins have been going pretty well lately out of that, but I took the Victoria Cougars as far as this choice is concerned.
Well, and I slipped a quick X in there for New West too, Dad. I think we tied it. Their goals for 188, 197. You've got a 9-goal or thereabouts difference, and Bruins do have one game in hand. I think it's a toss-up, and they've been scoring about an equal pace lately.
All right, defensive play.
Well, I'll see the X where you put it on this one, Dan. I think you did give this one to Victoria, and rightfully so. I think really in the last run of games that the Cougars have played so very, very well since starting the season. I think they started the season something like 7 wins and 13 losses, and have only 3 losses in their last 20 games. They're playing very, very well defensively.
All right, physically is always a very important statistic. It's one that often doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but we give the Bruins that one in their own ring.
It's very difficult not to go with the Bruins from a physical play. They do come to play in the banging department. I happen to think that sometimes they don't do a good enough job with a method to their madness in their own end of the ice. Their physical play sometimes is a little bit off, but they do get the edge in that one.
All right, special teams, no question. The Bruins have really struggled there, especially killing penalties.
Their penalty killing is something like about 65 or 70%. Their power play in their last 5 games is 14% or thereabouts. You have to give Victoria the edge.
All right, experience-wise, and again, this is one of those intangibles that a lot of people never talk about. Both teams have quite a few players that have played in this league before, but no question the Bruins have more of them, and we'll give the Bruins that advantage.
Bruins started this season with their top 6 scorers back. Victoria started the season with none of their top 5 scorers back from last year, so we do have to give the experience to the Bruins.
Okay, momentum is one that we argued about a little bit. I say Victoria because they've played better in the last month. You say New Westminster because they've played better in the last 48 hours.
I always like to see how well a team's doing the last 2 or 3 games. That gives me a pretty good idea of the way the momentum thing is going. But on second thought, Dan, I think I'd agree with you. I think the fact that this Victoria team is playing as well as they are over the last 15 or 20 games, it probably evens out. And I hope we gave 2 X's in there, and there's our totals if they add up. I don't know really what that means, but there they are. It should be a pretty good hockey game.
All right, we'll find out how good in a moment. The first period is next. It's the Victoria Cougars and the New Westminster Bruins. Stand by. We have Major Junior Hockey from Queen's Park Arena coming right up.
Serving the communities of New Westminster, Surrey, Langley, Fort Langley, and Aldergrove, this is Western 4 Community Television.
Welcome back to Queen's Park Arena. We're getting set for the start of the first period. I'm Dan Russell with Bill Wilms. It's the Victoria Cougars and the New Westminster Bruins tonight. Who are the goalies, Bill?
Well, you get a look at Dusty Imoo there. He's got a 6-win, 3-loss record, 85% saves. A kid that holds a BC JHL record for shutouts, 126 minutes, but that was in Tier 2. He's in Tier 1 right now in the Western Hockey League.
All right, the other end, we see a Victoria player by the name of Wade Flaherty.
Well, we thought Peter Fry was going to be playing in goal tonight, and we made our pregame assumption on that basis, but it is Wade Flaherty, a Nanaimo Clipper last year, 3.88 goals against, a 20-year-old, and 20-year-old tomorrow, as a matter of fact, Dan. He hails from Terrace, BC, and really, they've been splitting the goaltending duties between Flaherty and Peter Fry all year.
The referee tonight is Darren Larass. His linesmen are Shane Heyer and Brent Ashby. Those are tonight's game officials here at Queen's Park Arena as the Victoria Cougars and the New Westminster Bruins get set to do battle for the second time in 48 hours, and not too uncommon in the Western Hockey League for both teams. It'll be their third game in 3 nights in 3 different cities.
I expect Victoria to come out here and give it a pretty good effort. I think they were very disappointed in their effort last night as you get a look at the Zebras for tonight. And hopefully they'll be calling a good game, as they almost always do in this building.
Victoria in blue will shoot right to left on your screen when we bring it to the center ice area. And the Bruins shooting left to right in the home white uniforms have Stu Barnes at center ice, Pat Bingham on right wing, Shawn Lebrun on left wing, with Jay Moore playing defense along with Troy Arndt. That's Troy Arndt, number 19 for the Bruins, getting his stick on the puck. We'll set up the Victoria lineup here in just a moment as the Bruins' Barnes comes out with the puck. Hits Bingham in the skates with the pass, brings it in over the line. It's offside. At center ice for the Victoria Cougars, well, up front they have Joel Savage, Micah Aivazoff, and Guy Burr. Back front in the defensive core they have Dwayne, Keller, and Andrew Wolf. So just 15 seconds in, we get our first whistle. It's an offside. And right away, the Cougars have made a line change, so all that goes out the window, but we'll see how they match up this time around with Gerry Moscaluk having the puck.
And so much for the line matching. The Bruins didn't make a change, so they're content to go along and play it as it comes.
Imoo, the goalie, leaves it for Pat Bingham. Bingham tries to sweep it down the boards. Jay Moore has the puck. Now it goes to Barnes. Barnes coming out of his own zone through center ice. Left side pass ends up on Lebrun's stick. His shot is on Flaherty, who stopped it, and it's turned aside by defenseman Rob Sumner. She took a jolt. See Captain Moscaluk come out with the puck. Gerry Moscaluk, the one-time New West Bruin, puts it behind the net. It's in front now. Here's a shot. Good save by Imoo on the shot taken by Phillips. Another shot goes wide of the net. Giving chase is Len Barrie. Barrie puts it behind the net. Try to get it for Foglieta. Puck loose to the corner. Lebrun goes deep in his own zone to collect the puck, and out he skates with it for New Westminster. His pass goes off Bingham's leg to Barnes, who runs into Phillips. That's the end of the road for Barnes, and the Cougars get possession. Dump it out to center ice. A few bumps there, and it ends up in New West territory. Bruins making a change. Could be icing here anyway. As Arndt touches the puck, icing is the call on Victoria.
The one thing I think the Bruins are going to have to be careful about, I mean, you can make your matchups as you wish, but I don't think they want to be caught in a situation where they have a line on the ice for 1 minute and 15 seconds, almost 1.5 minutes. In fact, that is 1.5 minutes right there, and Victoria making a line change at the 15-second mark. It is the third game in 3 nights, and you got to make sure you're very aware of who's on the ice for what length of time. You may find that fatigue has a play in a game like tonight.
Daniels, Rennie, and Spenrath up front. I think they call that the hit line now in the dressing room as the Cougars bring it in over the line. That was Andrew Wolf trying to center it.
And I want to see that again if we can.
Spenrath gets it in over the line for Daniels. Daniels runs into Keller but goes in behind the net. Drops it back. Rennie trying to throw it in front. Pass missed. Comes back to Jake. Shot just tipped wide. Comes off the boards and out to center ice. Put back in offside. It's delayed offside, so the Cougars will have a chance to get it out, and they do. Brought up through center ice by Clayton Young. Right side for Barrie. Hooked a little bit. Now it's offside at the blue line to stop the play.
Andrew Wolf, number 7, has really developed into an excellent hockey player at the Western Hockey League level, and he's going to be representing the Cougars as an all-star, one of their defensemen. But I don't know if we'll go back far enough to see this. The one knock on Andrew Wolf's game is that he isn't creative enough inside the opposing blue line. Now, you watch this. This is the defenseman. What a beautiful rush carrying the puck out. Where does he put it? Right onto Shawn Barnes' stick. And that's been the one knock about him since he's been playing in this league, is that, hey, he's got so many tools. If he could just make a little bit more happen inside the other team's blue line, he'd be just that much more effective. Although I will say this, he's got as many points right now as he had all of last year.
Puck put into Victoria territory, collected by Will Andersen. Around the boards it goes. Collected by Stu Barnes, winds up from the blue line, puts it behind the net, trying to give chase to it for New Westminster's Nibs. As he centered it, is intercepted by the Cougars, and back comes Micah Aivazoff. Aivazoff quickly to center ice, in over the line, drops it back, puts it on to Dusty Imoo. It's a shot taken by Guy Burr. Imoo holds on long enough, and he stops the play. This is actually the 7th of 12 meetings that these two teams will have this year, and the Bruins have dominated. They've won 5 of the first 6, including the 6-4 win last night, but the scores have all been pretty close. This is a team they've dominated really since coming back to Queen's Park Arena a few years ago, Bill.
36 wins, 20 losses, 1 tie overall since back in the league. And as you say, 19-9 record against the Cougars in Queen's Park. Yeah, they've owned them.
This is probably the team they've owned the most. Against all the other teams, they're pretty much equal or worse, depending on who it is. There's a shot turned aside by Dusty Imoo. Now knocked out to center ice, picked up there by the Bruins' Scott Rawson, winds up, shoots, right on. Flaherty, with confidence, holds on to the puck after having a peek, and decides it's better to hold on and get a face-off, and there's some traffic in front of the net.
Watch the back-checking by number 9, Jason Phillips, on this play. It does come out, and here's a kid that's one of the offensive leaders of your team. Keep an eye on the left side of your screen. There's the shot. You let it go, let it go. Watch that back-checking right to the post there. Just a great job by Jason Phillips, who's incidentally playing with his 3rd team in the Western Hockey League. Started with Kamloops, ended up at Brandon. In fact, Jason Phillips scored 20 goals, 20 assists about 3 years ago with the Brandon Wheat Kings and helped lead Richmond to the Centennial Cup last year.
Chance in front just knocked off the stick of Stu Sage, who is playing hurt tonight with a hip pointer. But number 15 for the Bruins is out in the lineup. Darwin McPherson is out with a slightly separated shoulder, so that's a key player out of the lineup. As you see Sage do a little checking on Dwayne Keller. Keller ends up with the puck, puts it in. Now Bruins 25, Bill Gregoire, looked like he closed his hand on the puck, and you could hear the Cougars down at their bench yelling to the referee, or at least mentioning to the referee. They thought that might be a penalty, but play on, says the ref, and they do. Puck ends up down the ice. This could be icing as Wolf goes back to touch it, and the faceoff will come back into New West territory. Wayne Naka, the coach of the Victoria Cougars. And we have a penalty being called here. Somebody's got a 10-minute misconduct here, and I'm not sure who it is.
I think it's Mike Hawes.
And I don't know why. Obviously, he must have said something on the way back.
Well, the referees are generally pretty good about taking that kind of crap, that kind of abuse, as long as you don't direct it, right to the man, right to the referee's face. You can say most anything you want in passing, as long as you're headed for a face-off circle or as long as you're headed for the bench on a line change. But boy, you abuse them face-to-face, and you're usually going to get the 10-minute misconduct. And
that's the blanket rule? I didn't know. If you're skating away, you can say anything?
Just about, I would say. Well, you watch it when it happens, and those are the good officials. As long as you're not abusing him to his face or making a scene that the people in the arena, the spectators, can see that you're really giving them a once-over. They're usually pretty good at that. Now, incidentally, the misconduct penalty will not put the Bruins short-handed.
Face-off to the left of Dusty Imoo, who stands well out of his net on the face-off. Puck goes behind the net. Bruins get possession, and check that. Bruins lose the puck. That was Troy Arndt, one of the newcomers, and skated right into a dangerous area before losing it. Fortunately for the Bruins, it did not cost them. Jay Moore. He'll be one of 3 Bruins representing New West in the All-Star game. Moore, Barnes, and Lebrun. The All-Star game is Tuesday in Kamloops. Troy Arndt back for the puck. No score, 4:15 gone, first period. Pass to the open wing. Goes back in Victoria territory. Rob Sumner dumps it out to center ice. Now it's controlled by Shawn Snesar. Backhanded into New West territory. Imoo leaves it for Jay Moore, who avoided a check. And Moore skates out with the puck. Now to Lebrun. To Barnes. Lebrun offside.
You get a chance to look at number 19, White, New West Bruins. Troy Arndt. He's just joined the hockey club this year. He's been a veteran in this league. There you get a look at him. He's not obviously in the greatest shape as yet, as Van Horlick's over there giving him a pad for a pretty good shift, having not played much. But I'll tell you something, when a kid like him isn't playing with anybody this year, as he hasn't been, you got a lot of Tier 2 teams kind of drooling over the chance to get him. And I know that he was sought by a couple teams in the Lower Mainland, but he opted to finish this year with the New West Bruins, and I'm sure they're happy about that decision.
Jakes fell down. Guy Burr steals the puck, plays it back towards the blue line area. It doesn't reach there. Pile up in the corner for the puck. Still loose, intercepted in front. Skating out with it for New Westminster is Gregoire. The former Cougar rips one from the blue line, but it's offside as he released the puck. And a lot of whistles in the first 5 minutes, Bill.
It appears to be a number of play stoppages, and really, I kind of think that suits both teams at this point. I'm not too sure who a wide-open, hard-hitting, up and down the ice game would favor in this building tonight. Although I will say, as I said before, I don't think it's ever to the Bruins' advantage to play a wide-open game in this building at all. I don't think that suits their style of play at all.
Stu Barnes to take the face-off against Len Barrie. Barnes wins it, plays it to Gregoire. The addition of Gregoire and Troy Arndt have shored up New West Bruins blue line. They certainly are an experienced crew back there. Another whistle's going to stop the play here. While we have a series of whistles here, we should point out that the Bruins' record in their last 20 games compared to their first 20 is almost a reversal. They were 14-4-2 in their first 20, 5-13-2 in their next 20.
Well, and that can be attributable directly to their goals against. In the first 20 games, they only gave up 82. You see Steve Jakes take a pretty good dive there. Luckily, he ended up sweeping the puck to the boards and out of harm's way. It was a pretty good check there by Steve Rennie. 104 goals, or pardon me, 82 goals against first 22 games, first 20 games, 112 the second 20 games. And boy, that'll make you a big difference. That shows up in the one-loss column every time.
Puck intercepted at center ice, offside, stops the blue line as Len Barrie did not wait long enough. But in the last 20 games, they gave up 30 more goals and they scored 20 fewer than the first 20. So there's been quite a swing there. And I think the biggest problem that the coach John Van Horlick talked about in our little meeting prior to the game was the amount of penalties they've taken. Some of them stupid, many of them not wise, and the lack of ability in killing them.
Well, as I said at the start, a 14.8% power play in the last 5 games and only 60% penalty killing in the last 5. You know, that you can't afford to take those kind of penalties.
So we'll watch for the Bruins tonight and see what kind of penalties they've taken. There's been none so far. As the Cougars get a shot just wide of the net, that was Barrie shooting well off balance, and they seem to catch Imoo going the other way as well. Another shot, rolling puck, that went wide. That shot there was taken by Clayton Young. Back towards the blue line area, and it's gobbled up by Andrew Wolf at center ice. Fired in again, and Jay Moore has it. 6 minutes, 10 seconds gone. Scoreless first period. Rawson with Rennie in over the line. Dumps it to the corner. Cougars get it for a moment.
Kick it out, Clay.
Troy Arndt had it in his hands. Gets it again at center ice to Rennie. Now in over the line for Sage. Moving in. Sage holds and shot wide. Looked like he had a better scoring opportunity than it actually turned out being. Arndt. Offside at the blue line. Rawson beat the puck in over the line, and we get another whistle. And a bit of a ragged start to this first period. Scoreless tie.
You mentioned Sage playing a little bit hurt tonight. Rennie made an outstanding pass to get it over to Sage, and you're right. It seemed like it ended up being not as great a scoring chance as it looked when it started, because Stu Sage busting in off that left wing ends up getting a pretty good scoring chance just about every time.
So Stu Barnes with Lebrun and Bingham up front. Len Barrie with Guy Burr and Joel Savage for the Victoria Cougars, as Lebrun gets possession of the puck in the corner for a moment. Now Guy Burr starts out for Victoria. Long pass Misses Savage. They battle for the puck in the corner. Barrie. Chance for the Cougars at the side. That went wide. Controlled by Aivazoff. Trying to find Savage in front of the net. Intercepted. Back comes Bingham. Bingham 2-on-2 with Lebrun as he brings it in over the line. Lebrun holds it to the corner. Moscaluk took him out nicely. And the Cougars end up with possession. Back the other way. Savage in over the line. Savage slowed down a little bit by Gregoire. Puck centered. Bingham gets possession. Back he goes. Bingham with Barnes. Intercepted. Now they're going end to end. Dump it out to center ice. Shot back in Victoria territory. The Bruins make a full change here. And the Cougars do likewise. Pass intercepted. Daniels gets possession on the boards. 3 Cougars there to help break that up. Spenrath backhands it in. Will Andersen gets it for Victoria. Tries to knock it out again. Back forward to Steve Jakes. Well, we're now getting some continuous action, but still no real clear scoring chances. Rennie in over the line. Rennie stops, waits, holds. Still Rennie. Right in, he fanned on the shot. Here comes a Victoria penalty. Comes back to the Blue, and Imoo doesn't know it yet. Shot kicked away by Flaherty. Now it's touched by the Cougars. And here comes our first minor penalty of the night for slashing at 8:16. The Cougars are going to be shorthanded.
Steve Rennie had an opportunity to get the puck into the slot. He did everything, got the puck right to the slot area, and just couldn't get the blade on it properly and kind of fanned on the shot. But again, not bad effort by a youngster, as you will get a look here at the first power play situation of the period. It is kind of strange. We've almost played over 8.5 minutes here. Now, you watch Rennie here. He's got the puck. He'll move it into the front area. Now, at this point, you can't get much better chance to shoot, but he just kind of fanned that puck entirely. But 8 minutes of play, 9 minutes of play, and no shots on goal. I don't think we've had 3 shots on goal.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think more than 1 or 2 each, and very routine in nature for the goalies. Let's see if we get some chances now. Here's Moore on the power play, playing the left point into Barnes. Gregoire's on the right point, number 25. They have Cal Nibbs up there along with Steve Young as well. A lot of inexperience up front there on the Bruins power play, and it's still a situation where the next turn over the bench gets to play the power play. Here's Nibbs. Give and goes potential. The go didn't happen. Barnes holding it. Red light went on for a moment. Don't know why.
It's because the goal judge is wearing a blue sweater.
Oh, I see. There's the shot. I knew there was an explanation. Nibbs has it. Puck was nowhere near the net, but that shouldn't matter. Back to Moore. Back for Nibbs. Holding it. Will he shoot? Will anybody shoot? Controlled by Gregoire. Now to Jakes. Gregoire goes to the front of the net. They have some give and go possibilities, but the second pass doesn't happen. Nibbs centering it. Missed Barnes. Back to the blue line. Moore.
Good job, Jakes.
Didn't complete the pass. Knocked off the glass and out. Well, they had some puck control, but no shot on goal. Now they're changing up the penalty killers. Or the power play, rather. Bingham. Over the line. Rawson and Sage up front now. They still have Moore and
Don't get tied up,
Gregoire. There's a shot. Sage. Moore. Shot. Tipped wide. Sage tipped it in front of the net. Gregoire goes and pinches to hold the puck in. Goes in behind the net. Gregoire coming out the other side. Where's anybody? His shot went wide. No Cougar there to stop him. Gregoire said, I'll shoot that. That was a good chance. Here he is again. Gregoire shot. Great save by Flaherty. Maybe it was going high, but a good glove hand save by Wade Flaherty on Bill Gregoire's shot from point-blank range.
Well, Bill Gregoire, number 25 for the Bruins, you know, he is a 20-year-old, and he's playing like a 20-year-old. He's showing some experience out here. There's the shot. No, I think that was labeled, but this Gregoire, he's made a few things happen, even in the first 9-10 minutes of this period. And as we showed in our pregame package, he did score in his first game as a Bruin. So it's not too surprising to see him make the kind of moves he has, because he is a very experienced hockey player.
Well, we might show from this angle whether it was going in the net or not.
Just how boring is this game at this point? Our play-by-play announcer just had a massive yawn.
It was a yawn, too. I'm not going to deny it. It's been a little ragged so far. I don't know if that has anything to do with my lifestyle or the game itself.
I hope we're not keeping you up, Dan.
Rennie has the puck. Yeah, that center shot. Flaherty makes the save. Rennie holds it, tries to center it again. Intercepted out of the penalty box is Foglieta trying to take a breakaway pass. Tied up on the boards, Jake and Moore and Foglieta all trying to battle to get that puck out. Comes back to the blue line. Here's a shot. Knocked down in front by Gregoire. Rennie trying to get in the clear. Rennie drops it back for Lebrun, who was not looking for the pass. Lebrun turns in the slot, and his hook takes another shot. Doesn't reach the net. Lebrun again turns, coming out of the corner, hooked up a bit, comes back to Gregoire. His shot, knocked down in front. Barrie tries to get possession. He's stripped of the puck. Lebrun again coming out of the corner. His pass misses, and now it comes out to center ice. Will Andersen now for Victoria. From center ice, shoots it in. Lebrun being bothered from behind. Centered. Here's a shot. Scores! The Cougars open the scoring. Snesar somehow beat Imoo, who was well out. I don't know how that got through him because Imoo was blocking down the angle, but Foglieta centered it and Snesar opens the scoring.
Well, you wonder how the shot got through, Dan. I wondered how the heck the puck ends up on Snesar number 17 stick. He is left all alone in front of the net. Now you watch number 17 blue. Where is everybody? He has enough time to turn around and put it right through the goalkeeper's legs, and Imoo paid the price for having the legs spread apart there, but what else are you going to do? That's his position, but just a pass ends up right in the slot area, and that's something that the Bruins have been guilty of, is not playing well enough defensively in their zone. You can't get those guys
first goal
open like
scored
that.
by number 17, Shawn Snesar, assisted by number 21, Bob Foglieta. The time, 11:16.
Only the 4th goal for Snesar this year, and already the 12th point for Foglieta in a Victoria lineup, and he's played only about 8 games since being traded from Moose Jaw. Cougars open the scoring. They lead 1-0. Here's another angle on the goal. This is
you'll see Foglieta here make a good pass. There's no question about it, and Snesar makes a spin around play and rips it in. Imoo right out of the net as far as I guess you can be, but it doesn't matter how far you are out of the net, you do cut the angle down, and you have to take the puck in your pads at that point. You leave the pads open, it's going through there.
1-0. Cougars lead it. 8:15 to go, first period. Time of the goal was 11:16. Here's a chance for Spenrath. His shot went wide, and it came after the Bruins had 2 or 3 chances around the Victoria net. Maybe that goal will open things up a little bit, because we had very few scoring chances in the first portion of this first period. Offside again stops the blue line. Now we got a penalty after the offside. Daniels roughed it up after the offside was called. I think Daniels is going to get the initial penalty here.
And at this point, I don't think there need to be any other calls. It looks like Daniels, though, right now is ready to square off with Dwayne Keller. Now they're just about ready to go right there. Another tug or two, one more invite. There's a little slap on the side of the face. Oh, they're just going to stand there and look at each other for a while. Now I'll let you go. See you later. But I do think Daniels, the guy they call the chief, is going to get the penalty here, and I think it will be for cross-checking.
Or elbowing.
I don't understand the misconduct. They didn't do anything after that.
Well, you're supposed to go directly to the penalty box, as the rules.
You mean you can't stand around and pat each other on the cheek?
It's also a high sticking penalty being called here, too. We're going to look at the goal one more time.
3 Bruins in the corner of the rink. 4 of them. Count them. All come out of the corner right there to get the puck carrier, or the man with the puck in the slot, but then it's too late.
Daniels is going to get the elbowing and the 10-minute misconduct, and the other ones that were... there were a pair of them that were fencing a bit. They're going to get coincidental high sticking penalties. So look at the Victoria bench there, and I think the only shorthanded situation will be Daniels elbowing Minor.
That's Wayne Naka on your left. The dark-haired man is the coach of the Victoria Cougars, and I'm sorry I don't have it right in front of me, Dan. I think it's his 3rd or 4th year. 2nd? Boy, how time seems to fly.
Penalties for the Bruins, number 22, Scott Daniels, 2 minutes for elbowing and a 10-minute misconduct.
Well, let's see what the call is. Oh, he's got some coming up from the other side there. Well, you just about called anything. Elbows, high sticks. They do a pretty good job on knocking the man down.
2 minutes for holding. The time, 12:04.
There's a kid that made the jump from Bantam to Major Junior, Brad Hack. Delta boy, played for Team Pacific at Christmas time, and the team that lost to the Soviets. Playing his first year with the Cougars.
Well, we're trying to sort out these penalties. I believe they have Hack, 2 minutes for holding for Victoria. Then New Westminster's Troy Arndt, 2 minutes for roughing, and Daniels, 2 minutes for elbowing, and a 10-minute misconduct.
Seemed like a lot of penalties for that little altercation right there, and I don't know.
I think it is too.
We're going to try to get one of these referees mic'd one day. We'll put a mic on him and see if we can hear what's some of the comments made on the ice.
We got a microphone on John Van Horlick tonight.
He warned us a little bit about before the game and said, hey, I hope my language stays pretty good. Hey, we can forgive him for the odd little mistake. I told him again before the game, I warned him, or at least informed him again, that damn was not God's last name, so I think we'll have that straight.
Brought in over the line by the Cougars. It's 4-on-3 hockey here as Aivazoff winds up and shot it wide.
Can't let him shoot like that. No way.
Moscaluk to Will Andersen.
Look at this.
Over to Gerry Moscaluk. Now to Will Andersen. Shot. Scores.
It's got to go in. It's got to. You can't let him shoot like that.
Well, the triangle didn't seem to be existent there, did it?
No, the defenseman was in position, but he has to come out and challenge. Jason Moore just stood there. He gave him with a stick between his feet. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't drive that puck the first time the puck came back to that left point. Okay, watch this. They pass the puck back and forth along the point. And you can't let a guy walk in, kind of get out of the way like that with that traffic. Look at that blue man screening in front of the net. Come on.
Well, that certainly isn't Dusty Imoo's fault.
He should be suing for lack of support.
Will Andersen scores to make it 2-0. They make it look easy. The 8th goal of the year for Andersen.
Victoria's second goal, scored by number 2, Will Andersen. Assisted by number 3, Gerry Moscaluk. The time, 12:27.
Power play goal.
Andersen for Moscaluk at 12:27.
Here's Moore cutting in the other way. Moore right in. Held the puck, went around the net, has drawn a penalty, so the Cougars are going to get a penalty. Here's Sage. Poke check, held, shot, great save, rebound, another save. It's still loose and now held onto in front of the net by Flaherty, and a big pile up, but the puck does stay out.
The interesting thing on this sequence is that Flaherty uses his stick to stick check the man and still gets it back in front of him in time to make not only one save, but another save after that. You watch him stick check right there. He just about knocks it off his stick. Look, he's got a stick and he's standing up still. Makes that save with beautiful position. And at this point here, he's got nothing left to do but to spread himself out and smother the puck. That is just superb goaltending.
The Cougars are going to get penalized here. We'll pick up the announcement.
Drew Wolf, 2 minutes for slashing. The time, 12:53.
We'll get another look at the Victoria goal here, and when you're 2 men short at any time, you got to rotate a triangle. Now that man's got to charge out to that guy and not leave that kind of shot take place. Hey, he's a shooting gallery in there at that point. Not only did he drift that puck with nobody challenging him, the Cougars had a man right in front of the net. Perfect screen.
Now it's 4-on-3 the other way. The Bruins on a power play, their second of the night. They were unable to score their first time. They trailed 2-0 as a shot by Gregoire stopped by Flaherty, and he's looking very sharp when being tested, especially in the last few minutes when he's starting to get some action. Wolf for slashing at 12:53, the minor. And the Bruins penalty killing, a nemesis for the last number of games, surrenders that easy power play goal by Will Andersen. Certainly we don't want to downplay it from a Victoria standpoint, but just having seen the Bruins play all year, you know they play better than they have penalty killing there. The other reason we won't want to downplay the Cougar goal is that we'd like to welcome the people watching in Victoria tonight. Hope you're enjoying seeing their Cougars on the road as the shot goes wide of the net. Jay Moore trying to pinch in to hold it in. Another penalty coming up. It's a Bruin penalty away from the play for slashing.
And it is a good call. I think he could have called him either for the slash or the interference. It's Barnes going off. It will be 3 men against 3 at this point. But you watch him. He puts the stick on the Cougar, and he does get the call for slashing, but he was trying to keep him from getting the man with the puck. Watch 14 White here now as he right there interferes or slashes. Let it go a little further. And you watch the guy fall down. He takes him off his feet, and that is a 2-minute penalty every time.
So there goes the power play. The teams will play at equal strength, and there'll be all kinds of skating room out here. A 3-on-3 situation for the next little bit as Gregoire has it. And I think the Cougars would have an edge in skating. Gregoire centering it. Jakes goes right to the net and unable to get possession.
Good time.
Cougars now will try their luck. The first penalties are almost over here. Sumner has it, 2-on-2. It's kind of fun to watch. I don't get to see it enough. Sumner shot, had Imoo going the other way, but went wide of the net. Rennie, now to Jakes. Jakes, leaves it for Gregoire. Had a good chance there as Jakes did his job, but Gregoire couldn't count the puck. Now it's 4-on-4. Now there's some changes being made as Lebrun brings it back the other way. Rolling puck shot, wide of the net, goes off the glass. Lebrun gets possession, cuts right in front of the net, shoots, save, as Flaherty stopped Lebrun on a good chance. Flaherty's been sharp. Here's a chance for Aivazoff. His shot went high. Another chance for the Cougars. Here's Andersen, shot, save, rebound, shot, scores! Micah Aivazoff, 3-0. Cougars lead it here in the first period.
Well, it was a miraculous save that Imoo made on the first one. He came out far enough, had his pads out. It just caught his dragging pad, and once the puck went on to Aivazoff's stick, he just had to outweight the goalkeeper, make sure he was out of position, and he just about had the whole net to shoot it into, although there was a Bruin that went back to try to act as a goalkeeper and make the save. Watch the first save that's made right here. Folks, this is a good one. It just catches the outside of his pad. Now, there he just waits, puts it in, and I don't know who it is that tried to play goal, but I'll tell you,
Andersen.
when you haven't got any equipment on and you're going back there to try to play goal, you're going to beat more often than not. That's exactly what happened.
And it's 3-0 for the Cougars on the 16th goal of the year for Micah Aivazoff. 14:40 the time, and it's all of a sudden uphill again for the Bruins. Haven't we seen this before, Bill?
Deja vu.
3-0 down against Seattle. And down 7-3, I think, against Seattle or something like that. They won the game. I don't know if they can do it against Victoria. Andersen's long pass. Len Barrie gets it off the boards. The shot. Imoo makes the save. Held the puck. Leaves it for Moore. And it's shot down the ice. No icing. Andersen back to get possession. 3-0. 4.5 minutes to go first period. Our intermission guest will be Al Patterson, one-time Bruin coach and GM. And we have more about some of the players in the Bruins uniform of past that we're going to talk about in our intermission. Plus the Bruins playbook. Here's a chance in front. Great save, rebound shot. Another fine save by Imoo in front by Barrie. As he was stopped on the rebound from point-blank range. That's Imoo's best 2 saves of the night. Cougar dumped away from the play. Ref wasn't looking. Jay Moore dumped Len Barrie, and Len Barrie gets up limping as Moore slashed at or hooked at Len Barrie. Jason Phillips now to Barrie, winds up, shoots. That hit Gregoire in front. Cougars have really taken over the last few minutes. Here they are again. Phillips ran into the end of the wall there. Aivazoff scoring that 3rd goal, and since then, Cougars have had chances for 2 or 3 others. Wolf. Headman pass ends up on the Young stick. In over the blue line. Guy Burr back for Young. Shot. Wide. Another penalty coming up. It's a Bruin penalty. It's a high sticking minor. And the Bruins are going to be shorthanded again.
Bill Gregoire is getting the high sticking penalty. Technically, I think this is a high stick. By the book, it is a high stick. It's a little surprising to see it at this particular point. I thought he might have let this one go. But here's the goal. Again, you watch the shot. He does make a good save right here. You get a good effort at the block. But at this point here, it's just a matter of outweighting the goalkeeper, getting it to the outside, and make sure you put it upstairs.
2 minutes for high sticking. The time 16:46.
Reviewing the scoring, Snesar from Foglieta at 11:16. Andersen from Moscaluk at 12:27. Aivazoff from Andersen at 14:40. Shot on goal stopped by Imoo, and it's plopped on the rebound, and they'll do it all over again. The one similarity of the 3 goals, Bill, is that there has been no second assist on any of the 3.
4-6-6-1. 4-6-6-1.
So the face-off will go to the right, and a power play goal here by the Cougars could make lights out for the Bruins tonight.
5-5-2-4.
It's a very big penalty kill situation for New West late in the first period. 3-0 can be overcome. I'm not sure 4-0 can. Moscaluk through center ice. In over the line. Moscaluk might go all the way to the other end. Centering it. Swept away. Bingham shoots it to the line. Can't, oh, he did get it out and shot in offside by the Cougar point man, that being Naylor.
One of the problems that the Bruins have had killing a penalty is that they haven't had a very challenging or aggressive 4-man box. It's one thing to have your 4 guys in the box position. It's quite something else to create pressure so that the team can't have a lot of time passing the puck around the box and finding somebody that's open. You do have to remember it is 5 players against 4, so somebody has to be open. And if you give the team the opportunity to find that open man, they're going to give you all kinds of trouble. And that's been a problem that the Bruins have had so far this year. Coach Van Horlick would like to see them a lot more aggressive, challenging the puck carrier in the penalty killing situation.
There's about a minute left in that minor penalty. We have an awful time seeing the penalty time in this building, as it's one of those time clocks at center ice. It does not have the actual time left in the penalty. It's way up in the left-hand part of our rafters.
As I counted here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 beams or girders you have to look through to see the penalty clock. But one of them's about 2 feet wide.
I'll do it for you as I lean right over.
Come on back, Dad. Don't fall out.
1:04 left in the penalty. Oh, that's quite a journey. Cougars, Barrie behind the net, trying to center it. Went off a skate, intercepted by the Bruins. They should get it out here as Moore gets possession. Spenrath way over there on the left side. Gets possession. Here's a chance for Spenrath. Shot goes wide. Rebound, Moore follows up and might get caught here, although the Cougars are unable to get the puck out quickly. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the first period. Wolf.
Come on, Andrew, make something happen in there now.
He got hit. Lost the puck and it ends up down the ice. You used to coach Andrew Wolf in Richmond, didn't you?
A real pleasure. He was 15 years old when we had him in Richmond. I'll tell you, he's had $1 million pair of legs ever since he's put on a pair of skates. That guy right there with a puck, and he will.
Drops the puck back, gets a give and go, goes after the rebound, and Imoo held it out. Jakes, who also played in Richmond at one point, moved Wolf in after the whistle, but nothing comes of that. 1:24 to go in the first period.
That's Andrew Wolf with the puck right there. It's a little give and go, give to the outside, and keep going for the net. And Andrew just about picks up that rebound right there.
There's Wayne Naka, the coach of the Cougars, who at one point had an 11-game unbeaten string, and since they had their Prairie road trip, which they did all at once, they played all 9 games at once, they've gone 17-5-1 since that trip.
I think the Victoria management, Fraser McCall and the rest of the people that run the hockey club have been very, very patient with Wayne Naka, and I think this year he may be proving it all beneficial and worthwhile.
Brought in over the line. Here comes another penalty. This time a Victoria penalty as Nibs has possession of the puck. Now the Cougars get possession. And a tripping minor will give the Bruins a power play here late in the first period. And boy, would they ever love to cash in. As going to the penalty box is Darren Naylor.
Well, we'll see who they bring out as you see the time left in the first period. And that score over in the top left-hand corner, if you're a Cougar fan, you're pretty delighted with it. We see Sage out here with Hawes, with Rawson. Barnes looking back to see if he's supposed to stay out. And Moore. That's a pretty formidable lineup right now.
Well, there's been a lot of penalties for a game that's not very rough.
you're right, it hasn't been very physical at all.
36 minutes. If they go at this pace, they'll be over 100 minutes.
Last minute of play, period.
Barnes gets possession of the puck. Rawson's behind the net, getting the pass now. Taken out by Wolf. Does a good job holding 2 Bruins back, and that gives the Cougars a chance to get the puck out. Good job by Wolf. Back to get possession of it is Stu Sage. 35 seconds to go in the period. Bruins on a power play, and they head man it quickly. Rawson to Moore, in over the line. The trailer is Hawes. That's who Wayne Naka is yelling to pick up. Hawes behind the net now. Back to the Sage at the point. Centering pass shot. Great save by Flaherty. Wow. Everybody thought that was going in. I can't believe it stayed out.
Rawson with the shot, and I think the only problem, he might have been a little too close.
Here's Moore. Maybe waited too long. His shot went wide. Cougars get possession. Period's over. What a fine save near the buzzer.
The save of the period, without a doubt, it was Rawson that had the puck, and as I said, it looked like he may have been just a bit close and really didn't have all that much room. There he is, watch 11 in front of the net right there. He was tight, real tight on the goalkeeper, but nonetheless, boy, I'll tell you, a superb save by Flaherty, and he's made a great improvement in coming up from the Imoo. He was a good goaltender down there, but I can see he's made a very good transition into major hockey this year with the Victoria team.
I'll pick up the shots here in a moment. 3-0 the score after 1 period of play. Here's the shots.
Goal in the first period by the Bruins, 13 by Victoria, 13.
13-13, but great goaltending by Wade Flaherty kept Bruins off the scoreboard. I remember that chance there, but Gregoire earlier in the period was robbed on a great glove hand save, and Imoo had one go through his legs and certainly didn't get a lot of help either by some of his defensemen on another goal. And I think, though, Victoria in full command after 1 period of play.
I think the Bruins look tired. I have not seen them quite this lethargic. They look like a tired hockey club right now. And it's a little surprising for them to look that lethargic and tired in the first period. I thought they'd have a little bit more spunk. And as you said, it isn't that physical a game. They're not throwing their weight around all that much. And they look like well, it is their 3rd game in 3 nights, but it's the same for Victoria. So it really should maybe be a little bit closer. But they've come out and skated a lot harder and a lot more aggressively than they have in that period. And I think that's hurt them.
All right, in a moment, we're going to talk with Al Patterson. Right now, Bill is going to do another of the Western Hockey League Major Junior Playbook. And Bill, you're going to show us how to get out of your own zone in a different kind of way tonight.
Well, it's something that teams do practice. I don't know if all that many teams practice. The tendency for your defenseman is that once the puck is dropped and the play starts breaking out, that you go. It looks like number 5 there with Seattle's going to go out the other side. What does he do? He drops it back, what we call against the flow. Then that pass is made up into the center ice area. And at this point here, when you get that much room to get over the blue line, you just turn around and rip that shot. But we'll show it again from the face-off. And again, the thing you want to watch is how cleverly this Seattle team on this play captures and traps 2 Bruin forecheckers coming out of their zone. Here's a good job of winning the faceoff. That's Glenn Goodall right there. And watch the defenseman. Now, everybody thinks he's going the other way. Back off the boards, you reverse it. Now, the head up. There's a great pass. You've trapped another Bruin coming in. Now watch the top of your screen as the right winger cuts back and becomes a trailer. Now, the centerman at that point could have dropped the puck back, but he looked up and saw that much ice room and decided to shoot the puck. And I'm telling you, if you get that many chances in that particular situation, you're going to score your share of goals. Just a real good way to come out of your zone. You don't always have to go the way the play is going, the flow of the play. Drop it back the other way sometimes.
All right, it looks easy, but probably harder to do.
You got to practice it, no question. You got to make sure the timing has to be right, and above all, there has to be communication.
All right, standing by to talk with Bill and I down near the Victoria Cougars dressing room area is Al Patterson, the GM of the Cougars. Al, a comment, please, about the first period. You have to be pretty happy with the 3-0 lead.
Well, certainly we have to. Anytime you're up 3-0 on a team like New West, obviously you have to be happy. It's a little bit of a reversal where last night we were down 1-0, so it is nice to be up a couple going into the second.
You've been on a great tear really since your Prairie road trip. Why have you been playing such good hockey?
Well, I think certainly we go back to that road trip where we really only won 2 games out of 8, and that you can never be happy with that, Dan. But We did play awfully well in 4 of the games and got blown out of 2, but I was very pleased with our hockey team. Once we got home, that trip seemed to pull everybody together. We ran into some injuries to some of our 20-year-olds, and we lost some of the leaders on our team. And by golly, what happened is the 18-year-olds, the Aivazoffs and Savages and Kellers and Wolves, started coming through for us and playing whether they were making mistakes or not, and that gave them a great deal of confidence, and we seem to have used that as a springboard into a pretty good record here in the last little while.
You know, Bill and I were talking prior to coming to the rink tonight how we always enjoy watching the Bruins when you were the coach and the general manager, and we were tossing around some names, but do you have fond memories, and we want to get into some of these names in a moment, about your time here at Queen's Park?
Well, no question. It's got very fond memories for me. I always look back as New Westminster is my second home in major junior hockey at the moment, because Victoria is certainly the prime one. But boy, we had some great times, great teams, and we were struggling as an underdog throughout those years that we were getting started back here. And I know that Ernie McLean and John Oliver and Ron Dixon and the fellows have done a fine job since then. But we were underdogs, and it was a lot of fun in those days.
Al, it seems that we've dwelt a little bit on coming out here of some of the name hockey players, or let's call it no-name hockey players in the National Hockey League now that were kind of missed. The kind of kids that we really took a liking to in our days that we covered the games here. Guys like Ewan and Berube. Are you a little surprised with the success they're having in the National Hockey League?
Well, I think you always have to be surprised when a young man with the reputation of being a tough guy and not having the skills which Craig Berube had, and Todd Ewan, who had a reputation as a tough guy and no skills, but really in his last year you could just see him growing in leaps and bounds in terms of his confidence. You have to be a bit surprised, but boy, those were 2 big kids, and the National League swung a little bit to raw power, and somebody's always going to have a home for guys like that that'll go to the net and are good kids. And yeah, I look back on some of those players like that and a bit surprised, but boy, they deserve to be there when they've worked as hard as they have.
Well, you know, one of the interesting things, Al, is that Ronning got a lot of the attention then, but when you look back at that era, Berube, De Palma, Ewan, Noonan, Ranford, and Reddick, all guys you coached here that didn't get always a lot of attention, they're all in the National Hockey League or close to it.
Well, that's right. I think that's one of the reasons that we had a very solid hockey team. Like we finished second 2 years in a row, and nobody was expecting us to do that. And certainly Cliff Ronning, we can't take anything away from him. He was a very valuable commodity in our hockey team, and he was putting the puck in the net for us on a very, very continuous basis. But there had to be some other people besides just one guy, and Cliff's the first one to admit that. And when you had some guys like even Vern Smith and Zeitlin and players like that were around that were pretty solid kids, in addition to the ones you've mentioned, you got a basis for a team that is a team and can do some damage in any particular series.
Well, it's fun reminiscing. We don't have time to do any more of it, Al, but best of luck the rest of the way. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Dan. It's always a pleasure.
Al Patterson, the GM of the Victoria Cougars, who lead the New Westminster Bruins 3-0 after 1 period. Stand by. Bill will have a look at the goals, and we'll have more hockey from Queen's Park Arena on Western 4 Sports following this message. Welcome back to Queen's Park Arena. Dan Russell with Bill Wilms. We have played 1 period. It is 3-0 in favor of the Victoria Cougars. It wasn't so much a period dominated by the Cougars territorially, but certainly offensively and finish around the net. They had more of it, and the summary will reflect that when you see it here in a moment. 3-0 the score after 1. Here they are coming up on your screen. Snesar assisted, the only 1 assist on that play went to Foglieta, 11-16. Andersen, that was assisted by Moscaluk at 12-27. Then Aivazoff from Andersen at 14-40. Each team had 13 shots on goal. Let's have a look at those goals, Bill.
Well, 2 of the 3 goals are going to show you part of the problem the Bruins are having when they don't do things right in their end of the ice, and that's where their main problems have come. Now watch the forechecking here by Foglieta, and the pass out. Now you count 4 Bruins are coming out of that far corner of the rink. Snesar has all that time to turn around and drill it. Now I will say this, if he doesn't hit the space between Imoo's legs in that one, it's going to be saved, but there's no excuse for 4 players coming out of one half of the rink when a man in front of the net has the puck.
Well, the worst goal I thought was the power play goal by Will Andersen from a Bruin standpoint.
You have to have a triangle when you're 4 against 3, and it has to be a very mobile triangle. You have to rotate when the puck goes point to point. Now, at this point, number 2 should have shot the puck, but he decides to pass. He realizes, hey, I'm going to get this thing back. Nobody challenges him. Look at this. All that time. Worst of all, you let a Cougar in front of the net act as a screen, and that's going to kill you every time. But you watch what happens on this next goal, down on Aivazoff's goal. 3 missed hits in the corner of the rink. It starts with Lebrun missing one, and Shawn Lebrun does not miss many hits. But when you miss a hit and then stick check twice, you're going to pay a heavy price. We'll let it roll. Watch what happens. There's the second one. It's a miss. A wave of the stick. Here's the third one. You try to stick check, and at this point here, Aivazoff comes in and rips it, but there's a pretty good save. Come on, let's get it ends up being an open net goal for Micah Aivazoff on that one. But you didn't see the first missed hit there. Lebrun missed the man, and then 2 others took their turn in sweep checking, trying to watch the first. We'll show it right here. Okay, keep your eye on the corner of the ring. Now, Shawn 18 doesn't miss this much. Look, missed him. Sweep check, number 2. There he comes out for a third one. We're not finishing. We'll try to stick check him there. He gets the puck through all those 3 guys onto the net. The rebound, you're dead in the water.
Good highlight. Okay, the teams are at equal strength as we begin the second period. Or check that. No, the Bruins are on a power play. There are players in each penalty box, but the Bruins are on a power play as they start the period. And Flaherty right away makes a save. Again, we have so much trouble reading the score, the penalty time clock here, but there's 48 seconds left in the penalty taken late in the period by Victoria's Darren Naylor. Okay, they're adding a second assist on the 3rd Victoria goal. Aivazoff now from Andersen, and Moscaluk gets a second assist. Shot on goal from the faceoff goes wide of the net. Hawes goes to the corner to get possession of the puck. Ends up loose to Rawson. Now back to Moore. Holding it. Shot. Oh, Flaherty made a save, although I don't know how he saw the puck. Still battling for the puck in the corner. Now Moore at the point. Winds up, shoots. High shot. Knocked down in front. Puck still loose over there in the far boards. Controlled by Sage. Sage holding it. Now Moore in the corner. Barnes has it. 15 seconds left in the penalty. The puck came outside center ice. Save. In over the line. Shot. Good save. Rebound. Rawson shot. Hit the post. I don't know how he missed it, but Rawson hit the goal post. Well, they're doing everything but. What a great chance for Rawson, who hit the post late in the first period. You may remember Rawson was robbed from point-blank range by Flaherty. That close to the Bruins being back in the hockey game. Penalty's over. Cougars back at full strength. They weather the storm, but just. Dusty Imoo, the goalie for the Bruins. Controls it to Steve Jakes, now to Stu Sage. Try to get a Spenrath. Instead it goes behind the net. Gregoire and Jakes almost collide. Gregoire gets possession, now to Sage. Coming out of his own zone. Headman pass to Spenrath. In over the blue line. Rennie tries to give it a little bump through the Cougars. Rennie puts it behind the net, intercepted by Victoria's Savage. Can't get it out. Held in by Gregoire. His shot does not reach the net. Back the other way comes Foglieta. 2-on-1 with Phillips taking the pass. Phillips right in a goal. Shoots, and Imoo held it out. Doesn't know where it is. Jakes has it. And he clears it aside. Penalty coming up. Who's got this one? It's an elbow. Jakes, I think, is going to get penalized here. And here's that 2-on-1 that Phillips almost finished off.
It looked like Phillips did the right thing here, taking and waiting to go to the outside, but Imoo wasn't getting him an inch on that one. He played it very, very well, and as you said, he had no idea where the end of the play ended up, where the puck ended up. But from a Bruins standpoint, the worst thing that can happen is we'll pick up the penalty here.
Jakes, 2 minutes for elbowing. The time 1:57. And please note a scoring change on Victoria's second goal at 12:27 of the first period. The goal now scored by number 11, Micah Aivazoff. assisted by number 2, Will Andersen and Gerry Moscaluk. That's Aivazoff.
Here's the
from
Bruins
Andersen
scoring
and
chances.
Moscaluk.
Rawson just rips it off the post, and as I was going to say, the three things that are the worst thing that can happen for the Bruins in their own building is to get down 3-0, run into a great goaltender, and run into a lucky goaltender. How are you going to win?
Well, they changed that second goal, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but the Cougars are on the power play. Here's Moscaluk dropping it back. Aivazoff, who now has 2 goals on the night, plays it back to Moscaluk. Avoids a check by Lebrun. Aivazoff again turning on the boards. Bingham steals it and will get it out and try to hit Lebrun with a pass. Intercepted, and back comes Victoria. Aivazoff. Centering pass. More intercept. Shoots it down the ice. Well, that's that one on the 2-man power play. I thought the shot went right through by Will Andersen, but they say Aivazoff must have tipped it in front of the net. Here's a chance for Hawes, set up by Rawson. Well, shorthanded, it went through his legs. Rawson working over Barrie a bit before falling while shorthanded. 3-0 Cougars, and they're on the power play here as Moscaluk brings it in over the board. Taken out of the play a little bit there by Troy Arndt. Still the Cougars maintain possession. Moscaluk in the corner. Rawson tied him up. Barrie is hit by Moore. Barrie still comes out of the corner. Hooked by Moore. Still hooked. Gets it back again behind the net. Barrie plays it to the corner. Centering pass. Back to the blue line area. Moore has possession. Foglieta trying to get possession of the puck from him. Barrie's also behind the net. Continue to work hard for the puck, the Cougars do. Will Andersen. Now to Barrie. Behind the net to Foglieta. Intercepted. Hawes gets possession. Penalty's over. Hawes through center ice. Knocked off his stick. So the Cougars are 1 for 3 on the power play. 0 for 2 are the Bruins. 4 minutes, 15 seconds gone. Second period. 3-0 is the score. Victoria leads. Here's Barnes taking a drop pass. They can't control the puck. Being hooked from behind a little bit is Clayton Young as he brings it in over the line. Young. Now Gregoire for New West. 4 Bruins through center ice. Gregoire quickly takes a shot. Flaherty holds on, stopping the play in the face-off in Victoria territory.
Well, this time the Victoria Cougars a little guilty of not holding the blue line, backing up. There were 3 of them that let the Bruin player, Gregoire, right over the line with a pretty good shot on net.
Come on, guys, let's get one. Come on, who's going to get us started here?
I think they really need the next one too, Bill.
Very important. Like you said earlier, I just don't think that they're aggressive enough tonight to come back from 4 goals. You know, right now, 3, yeah, they can do it. As a matter of fact, when you look at it, there's only 3 shots. 3 good shots on net, and this game is tied. It's a possibility, but boy, you get down 4, it just seems like it's just that much more difficult. I'd be surprised if Victoria tries to alter their play and go into any kind of a defensive shell. I think that might be a mistake.
Jakes gets possession to Nibs, who backhands it out to center ice. Team's at full strength. Could be icing here. Wolfpack to touch it. Icing is the call. The Cougars owner, Fraser McCall, announced just this week that the hockey club will not be moving out of Victoria. The city of Victoria has allowed the hockey club to sell board advertising, which will generate about $25,000 of revenue for them in a year. A Victoria newspaper this week reported that Fraser McCall, who sits in a private box at Memorial Arena, pays about $5,000 a game for that privilege, in that's how much his losses are. It cost him about $5,000 a game to watch his Cougars play.
I would have bet they would have been leaving Victoria, really. If I was a gambling man, I think they had quite an offer from Sacramento, and there was rumors that this league might be an all-American city league, and wouldn't that be awful to lose major junior hockey in the west coast of Canada?
Well, we know Victoria's staying put, but we're not sure about the Bruins yet. There's all kinds of rumblings about them moving to Tri-Cities, Washington. And we hope somehow the Cougars, or the Bruins rather, will stay put. Jakes, pass to Rennie. Puck loose and escapes over there. Brought in by Daniels, over to Spenrath. Moscaluk shoots it around the boards. Puck flipped high at the blue line. Jakes gets possession. Puts it to the corner. Behind the net. Bruins can't get possession clearly, and Barrie will start out. He's played well tonight. Long pass, glove hand now for the Bruins. Stops the play. 14-17 left in the second period. 3-0 Victoria.
Coach Van Horlick was telling us before the game that they have been taking too many penalties, but by the same token, he figures he's got 3 or 4 defensemen back there that just by the very nature of their play are going to take a lot of penalties. You know, McPherson's going to be good for 250 to 300 minutes. Jason Moore will be over 300 minutes, and young Jakes will, Steve Jakes could well go 300 to 400 minutes. So you don't want to have them change their game plan because they do play very aggressively and physically. But by the same token, that ends up hurting you when your club can't kill those penalties.
It's a shot from the point. Great save by Flaherty on the shot taken by Troy Arndt as he stuck his hand out. Right now, I'd say Wade Flaherty is the best player on the ice for either team.
New West not being able to make a lot happen offensively tonight. Their scoring chances have been very sporadic. When they've had some, they've been some good ones. Now watch Flaherty here as he comes well out of the net here and gets that big mid up right there. Be nice if Bingham in front of the net might have got a little bit of stick on that, but it's pretty hard to deflect them when they're coming up around your ears. You can't head the puck very well in this league as you get a good look at Jason Moore,
who did try out for the World Junior team, but was unable to crack the squad. In our second intermission, we will have an interview with Greg Hawgood of the Kamloops Blazers, one of the players that was in this week, and we had a chance to catch up with him and ask him about the World Junior gold medal that the Canadians won in Moscow not too long ago. 3-0, Victoria leads it. Second period action at Queen's Park Arena. Bingham trying to get possession for New West, cannot. Moore has it. Now Bingham in over the line. Lebrun goes to the front of the net, but it's controlled by Sumner. He gave it away. Barnes behind the goal, working hard just to get possession. Now to Sage. Bingham, centering pass, and Flaherty just pops on it and holds on to stop the play.
Dan, just prior to this last face-off, actually prior to the play from the face-off, Rob Sumner, a youngster, only 17 years old, had the puck at the defenseman behind his own net. Both wingers were pretty well covered, and what did he do? Exactly what you want your defenseman to do, and that is lug that puck out of there, get skating with it. He headed right up the ice and got the puck out of his zone without any trouble. Very good play for a guy that they really say is an unsung defenseman, and he makes the hard plays look easy, and that, well, he did right there. He had the real good knowledge to carry that puck and get those feet moving, get it out of there.
Shot from the blue line by Gregoire does not click. Battle for the puck there. Sage trying to center for Hawes. Sage behind the net for Hawes. Puck left sitting there for almost an eternity as Keller gets it. Now it's Foglieta coming out of his own zone. Shoots center ice. Bob Foglieta. Backhand shot goes wide. Comes out to the center ice area for a moment. Foglieta almost took it off Gregoire's stick. Sage has possession. Offside stops the play. What do you think of this Foglieta? He's sure been around, hasn't he?
I was just going to say, that guy's skating right in your picture right now, Bob Foglieta. If it seems like he's been around, or a Foglieta has been around this league since goodness knows when, the last 10 or 12 years, as I've said, since Moses is lecturing in Tawasin, you're probably right. Here's a 20-year-old, 6'2", 200 pounds, and the reason he's been bounced around as much as he has is he really doesn't play like a 6'2", 200-pounder. They'd like him to be a little bit more physical, but my years of coaching in the BC Junior Hockey League go back to about 78, 79, and there were Foglietas in the league then playing with Nanaimo.
Barnes from behind the net trying to jam it at the side. Flaherty stopped one of them. There's another chance in front. And the Bruins unable to get a clear shot on goal. Back the other way comes Guy Burr. Burr trying to get in around Moore, who stood him up. Puck comes back out the center. Barnes has it. Fans respond because Barnes has been roughed over a bit. Play on, says the ref. Starts to get a little rough out there. Moore has it. Burr without a stick tries to grab a hold of him. Cougars do get possession of the puck for a moment. Barnes has it, very scrambly. Sumner just grabs the puck. He'll get 2 minutes delay a game. It was like he was gonna, I don't know what he was gonna do. It was like practicing for diving at the Summer Olympics.
He looked like he was recovering a fumble. But just a minute ago, he did an outstanding job of taking out Shawn Barnes. And I don't know, yeah, he is getting a penalty. The gate's open. But he took out Barnes beautifully, one-on-one. As a matter of fact, I thought he got away with one right then. He gave him a little shot right after putting him on the ice. So I guess Sumner can consider himself a little bit lucky, but you can't dive on the puck the way he did on this particular play right here. He's playing without a stick. That's his problem. Here, I'll take that thing. Everybody just stands around and watches.
That's
no
delay a
question
game,
about
I think.
that.
All right.
Bruins need one. They need one in the worst way.
Sure do. Trailing 3-0. They are 0 for 2 on the power play. Back forward is Bill Gregoire. There's Jakes. There's their hit line up front. That's Daniels with Rennie on his right and Spenrath on his left. Shot from Jakes. Tipped wide. Held in for a moment by the Bruins. Now comes out to Jakes at center ice.
And Savage, you're the trainer. Yeah.
Moving pass to Rennie. Spenrath heads to the net. There's a pass, goes back to the blue line. Shot by Gregoire went wide. Jakes from the other blue line. Fakes over here to Gregoire. Shot does not reach the net. Hit Phillips on the way. Wolf and Rennie battle for the puck on the board. Spenrath has possession for New West coming out as Rennie and Wolf get their sticks up. Rennie behind the goal, centering pass. Where's the puck? Cougars have it. They send it down the ice. Quickly, the Bruins try to catch Victoria on a change here. In over the line. Here's Gregoire trying to go right to the net. Behind the goal, he ends up. Backhand pass in front. Turning in the corner now is Bingham. Bingham still with the puck, coming in. Pass. Doesn't get through. Lebrun holds. Bingham. Plenty of puck possession, not many chances. Shot. That ringed off the post. Jakes hit the post from the point. Puck got all the way through. Gregoire dumped in front. Play on, says the ref. Chance in front. Intercepted by the Cougars. Back they come. 2-on-2. Glenn Barrie with Foglieta on his right. Barrie shot. That hit Jakes. And Lebrun gets possession. Now to Daniels. Penalty over now. Cougars back at full strength. Daniels to Bingham. Bingham shot. Saved by Flaherty. Puck comes back to Lebrun. Lebrun plays it behind the net. Daniels has it. Moscaluk gets possession. Moscaluk in over the line. Now to Foglieta. As he falls, he leaves the puck. There's a shot that goes wide by Snesar. Chance in front, Foglieta shot. It's stopped by Imoo. And Foglieta, who has played for Kamloops, New West, Portland, and Moose Jaw before coming to Victoria, does a good job penalty killing.
There he is. He goes off for a well-earned rest, but the Bruins look like on their power play, and it's hard to tell exactly what they were trying to do, but they would look like they would stick a man in Flaherty's face right in front of the net, and that's good strategy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Put a big man in front of the goalkeeper, but you can't try to work the puck into the front of the net under those circumstances either. If you're going to put a man in front of the net, he's there to screen. You've got to get some shots on the net, and most of those will come from the point, and the Bruins not able to do that.
You hear Wayne Naka yell, only one man in.
We got a mic on him too.
Well, that's just Wayne Naka's voice, I think. He likes to yell. Puck loose in the Cougar corner. Coming out is Hawes, trying to center it, goes back to the goal line. Troy Art passes, and not only was the pass not the shot the fans wanted, but it went right to a Cougar player. Hawes shot, scores! Mike Hawes gives New Westminster their first goal of the night. It's 3-1.
Hawes has scored many a goal from that position. He's probably the best spot. It's the best spot for most goal scorers, but for some reason, Mike Hawes does a better job of scoring from that position right there. He's big and strong. He's got great upper body strength, and when that puck hits his stick at that position right there, it was too much for Dwayne Keller to handle, and he was number 4, Victoria, in the only position to check Hawes, and Hawes just plain out overpowered him. He got it on his stick and drifted it into the net.
I think Hawes has quietly scored 21 goals this year.
Yeah, he sure has. Well, you know, we mentioned before, he's been a very prolific goal scorer in the past. He scored a whole ton of them, 81 of them, as a matter of fact, at Prince George, so he can score.
Bruins
As you say, he's doing it right here,
by
too.
number 12, Mike Hawes. Assisted by number 15, Stu Sage, and number 7, Jason Moore. The time, 11:27.
Well, let's see what that does for the Bruins. They're on the scoreboard. They've had some chances, but finally they cash in. 3-1 Victoria leads, 8 minutes to go, second period. So they get that all-important goal that gets them within 2. And now it's just a point of interest in seeing how they'll respond to it. And the Cougars, too. Moore skating in his own zone, puts on the brakes to get away from a Victoria forechecker. Now headman's a pass to Barnes, went off his stick. Troy Arndt now for New West, leaves it back for Moore, who dumps it down the ice. Fight at center ice.
Don't pull it!
Steve Young for New Westminster. Is that Snesar, I think, for... No, I'm not sure who it is.
I think that might be Guy Burr. And if it is, number 12, Guy Burr, he leads the team in fights.
It's Guy Burr. Well, they won't have far to go, Bill, once they finally break him up.
Let go of his hair!
A lot of guys yelling, let go of his hair. I guess because you do get a little hair pulling in there, you'll end up with 5 minutes. I don't think that's going to get any further than that right there. That's the time the officials step in. As you say, they just have to usher him a couple feet to the boards, to the penalty box.
Another look at the Hawes goal.
5-8 fighting. That's a good pass right there, and Sage makes a lot of those plays happen with those passes, and as we said before, Hawes in his favorite spot in the slot does put it in. But there's a second-year player, a grinder of value. You know, there's grinders, and then there's grinders of value that can make things happen. There's a kid that loves to play in the toughest rink it takes to play in Spokane, and he just comes to play every night in that building.
And Victoria's number 12, Guy Burr. 5 minutes each for fighting. The time, 12:27.
Burr is a Winnipeg boy.
And that's not Calvin Nibs.
Chin strap.
It is Steve Young, who's been playing, to this point, we understand, with Fort Saskatchewan Traders. 37 points in 53 games, so he can score. Again, big kid, 6'3", 200 pounds. One of the many good players that hails from Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Look at the start of the fight here, just from the beginning, and see how this fight started. Look up top there on the left-hand part of your screen. Here's where they go. Really kind of innocent in beginnings.
A lot of hugging going on right there. He was just going to dump him right over. Jake's getting a first-hand view of it, certainly in the corner of the Bruin, and by giving him all kinds of advice.
Knowing the way he likes to scrap, he probably was one who said, let's go. Another penalty coming up, and this will be a Victoria minor penalty. Just as soon as we get going, we get another one. And this is Foglieta going over to the penalty box. And the Bruins on a power play here.
And they got to get this anemic power play going. There's a 2-minute advantage, 7 minutes and 27 seconds left in the second period. They are trailing 3-1. They dug themselves into a massive hole, getting down 3-0. You really have to think that this would be a great opportunity for them to score. There's a hold.
Whoops, just out of our picture, but that was the end of it right there. And there's the start of the arm going up. And now the Bruins on a power play, which is 0 for 3 on the night.
And it's a hit line out there again.
I talked to the coach, John Van Horlick, before the game about his power play philosophy. He said for a while it was being advised to him by people in the organization that perhaps he should put people out on a set power play. He did that for a while and has now gone back to next turn over the boards. And he feels it's the best thing for team harmony.
Well, as I've said that many times, it definitely you gain team spirit, no question about it. But you might lose effectiveness in goal scoring, and ultimately that's what counts.
Phillips, poke checked by Sage. They do use Sage on the point quite a bit, and Barnes when they can get him out there, if he hasn't just finished the shift. But we'll see what happens here. Here's Sage, brings it in over the line. Has trouble with it in his skates. Don't forget, he's playing hurt tonight, and that's why Sage has not been perhaps as effective as we've seen him in another telecast. Bruins again having all kinds of trouble setting this thing up, and then once they set up, they've had difficulty getting clear chances. But we'll see what happens here. Again, taken off the stick. Two-line pass should stop the play there. Offside, and now we're going to get a change of the power play. Off over the boards come people like Barnes and Lebrun and Moore and Bingham, and also Bill Gregoire.
Well, Stu Barnes, you know, you got to believe he has to be out there. He's leading the club in scoring. I think Stu Barnes has done
right from the start. Rooney, you're supposed to win the face-off. Get us going there. Rooney, bear down on them damn draws. That's why I got you in there, is to win them. At least don't lose them. You don't get a draw. You know, we're going to outfight him for the puck because there's more of us.
In over the line. Here's a chance for Bingham. Now to Barnes. Bingham, blue line. And Moore had to hop over a stick, and it's been that kind of night.
As I was just going to finish the thought, Dad, Stu Barnes, as I say, came in here highly touted. He's done everything asked. He leads the club in scoring, you know, and he's taken by far the most number of faceoffs. He's got 44 hits to go along with it. Pretty good plus-minus, second on the club. You almost think he's got to be out here in these power plays.
Barnes plays it back to Moore. Back for Barnes. Centering pass. Went behind two skaters, controlled by Lebrun. Action in front of the net. Here's Barnes, shot wide. Good notion. Gregoire trying to center it once more. Barnes wasn't seeing the pass, gets it off the boards. Barnes controlling it behind the net, waiting for somebody to get loose in front. Pass is in skates all night long, it seems. Penalty over. Moore. Gregoire sneaking in from the blue line. They can't spot him. Barnes behind the net, trying to center it. Team's at full strength. Again, that power play, Bill, no real clear chance.
I don't think they got a shot on it that entire 2-minute power play, and it is now over.
Well, we'll see what John Van Horlick will turn up his microphone again and see what he has to say over there. 5:10 to go. That was a good chance for him to get back in the game.
Well, they've got, all right, 4 goals in about their last 30 chances. They were 4 for 27 going in tonight's game in their last 5 games, and they've had 2 or 3, 4 chances tonight. So they're 4 goals and 31 opportunities, and that certainly isn't good enough.
5:10 to go, second period. 3-1 Cougars. They led 3-0 after 1. And Andrew Wolf has possession from the faceoff.
Come on, Tavo. Come on, Greggy.
Jakes around the boards right to a Cougar, but it hopped over his stick. Held in at the blue line. Chance at the side of the goal. Imoo has not been busy. Holds the puck, stopping the play. The nice thing about this game, and I know you're going to like this, Bill, because you used to coach in the BC Junior Hockey League, but there are 15 kids in this hockey game tonight that at one time played in the BC Junior Hockey League, 10 of them with the Cougars.
Yeah, that is very, very good to see, because you do consider the BC Junior Hockey League as a development league, and strictly for the Western Hockey League, certainly primarily for the Western Hockey League. A lot of guys go on to college, but
Barnesy,
not only
on the right side.
calling the next lines up. Not only that, Dan, but 25 BC-born players in tonight's game, and I think that speaks very, very highly for the status of state of hockey in British Columbia.
Some very good talent.
Victoria tonight leads the 2 of the teams in 10 players from the BC Junior Hockey League, and New Westminster with 5.
Come on, Clay,
They
work
have
hard there.
15 of their 18 skaters tonight British Columbia born. So it's a true British Columbia flavor in this hockey game tonight. A 3-1 Victoria lead. late in the second period. Puck put into Bruin territory. And while the Bruins have not played particularly well tonight, they're still not by any means out of this hockey game. Long pass for Rawson doesn't click, ends up in the bench area. And catching it down there was Brad Hack, who flipped it in amongst the spectators.
This Victoria franchise has had some very down years in the last 4 or 5 years. Last year, 86, 87, they made the playoffs for the first time in the last 4 years. They ended up 6th, 6th, and 5th, going back to 83, 84. You actually have to go all the way back to 1980, 81, when this Victoria franchise was first with 60 wins, 11 losses, and 1 tie. And they sported a tremendous 217 goals against average at that time. And you could tell the people out there who was a goaltender during that great Victoria season.
Oh, he will in a moment as Barnes gets possession. Boy, I'll tell you, I bet most people know that. He's sure a star right now in the NHL. Grant Fuhrer.
The team also had players like Barrie Peterson, Torrey Robertson, Mark Morrison, to name a few. And that 60 wins in 80-81 is a Western Hockey League record for most wins in a season. That year, then, they also had the longest winning streak, 24 games without a loss.
What a great time that was in Victoria. And they beat Calgary Wranglers that year in the 7th and final game. Remember who was in the Calgary net?
Mike Vernon.
Very good. Fuhrer and Vernon. Fuhrer won that battle that night, and that was Victoria's only berth into a Memorial Cup. Their first and only league championship in the WHL to this point.
Might mention, too, this Victoria squad finished 4th last year, made the playoffs, only to lose 5 straight to Kamloops. But in doing that, they set a league record for minutes and penalties, 3,826 minutes in the sin bin.
Who do you like this year, though, to win the Memorial Cup, at least, or to represent the West in the Memorial Cup?
I think you got to go with Kamloops. I know that's simple, you know, picking the team that's currently leading. I just don't like the overall play of the Bruins right now. You might pick a team like Victoria, but I'll stand right here and say that I didn't pick Victoria to make the playoffs this year, and here they are fighting for second place, so that tells you how much I know.
Aivazoff had the puck. I'll say one thing, there's no real clear-cut team this year that should be favored to win it all in the WHL.
And it's just very unbelievable to see Portland languishing in 5th place, a team that hasn't missed the playoffs but one, I think, in 17 years.
That's just the West Division. Of course, the East is still very tight back there, and you look at teams like Saskatoon going very well, but you know, it's wide open there. Anybody there can win it. Prince Albert, Regina. They all look pretty good. They're all near the top. I don't think there's a clear-cut team to come out of this league to represent the WHL this year. Anybody could if they get hot at the right time.
And well, it should be. That's only one. Well, the only people that benefit by that kind of race are the viewers, and we see a pretty good crowd here tonight. I'm sure they'd like to see more. I think they're still pulling their 6,000 or 7,000 down in Portland, though.
Here's a chance for the Cougars as they bring it in over the line. That was Naylor being bumped off the puck. It's back in front. A shot, and Imoo makes the save and holds on.
Watch this. You got to see this, okay? You got one Victoria Cougar, you got 3 Bruins, and who gets the chance on goal? You judge this one. Who's going to win this battle? There you go. One guy, 3 Bruins coming in. There's the bump off the puck. All right? Hey, I'll just pick that up, make another pass. Shot on goal. Quite amazing, isn't it, to see how sometimes those kind of things happen. Now, you can contribute that to puck luck, but that does happen often. The puck doesn't bounce well for you, and that might have been a little bit of the case there, but I think it's a lot of mental sloppiness as well.
That puck didn't reach the net. The shot by Sumner went about 10 feet in the air and landed about 30 feet in front. That was a weird one from the point as Barnes picks it up through center ice. Pass to Lebrun. Bruins passing has been off all night long. He's not had a lot of flow this hockey game. But I'll say one thing as we go back and see an icing call. Of all the years you and I have been doing games here, and we see Victoria once or twice every year, this is probably the best Victoria performance we've seen in some time. They usually disappoint us. We hear all kinds of things about how well they're playing, and often they come in here and stink up the joint.
That's right, exactly. We've seen them play some very mediocre hockey in here. We've seen guys like Priestley, who are now playing in the National Hockey League, play very, very mediocre hockey, very lethargic hockey. I thought I saw him check very poorly some nights, and you know, he's having a fine season in the National Hockey League.
Face off to the right of Wade Flaherty, who allowed the only goal that New West has scored so far tonight.
Where are the beach balls tonight?
We're seeing those. We got a penalty last time that happened. And that kind of drought for the Bruins. Although they come into this game, if you just joined us, on a 2-game win streak. And certainly not out of this one with 2.5 minutes to go in period number 2. Rawson tried to sneak through the defense there, unable to do so. Moore back to get it. Rawson, who has not scored tonight, certainly has had some good chances, and he's been maybe one of the best Bruins offensively. That's him with the puck right there. In over the blue line, he ran into a check, that by Dwayne Keller, a Port Alberni kid. That's the end of the road. Back comes Foglieta, 2-on-1. Now it's 3-on-1. Foglieta shot, stopped, rebound, swept away. Foglieta centers it, gets it back in the corner, centers it once more, intercepted by Hawes, and they start back. Mike Hawes with Stu Sage, 2-on-2. Shot, kicked out, big rebound. Sage can't get his stick on it. Comes out to center ice. Put in offside. Delayed. Waved off. Intercepted shot. Went wide. Rawson let it rip from about 35 feet out there as he intercepted a bad Victoria pass. Had another chance to score, but Rawson can't buy one tonight.
Well, Andrew Wolf had the puck and tried to hit the far man down the ice.
Twice
he's given it away there.
Here's Sage, shoots. Big block by Moscaluk. Wow. That's 2 giveaways for Wolf, who was playing pretty well. Penalty. Foglieta dumped. That's a bad penalty, Bill.
Well, that's what they say. Van Horlick's big complaint is taking dumb, bad penalties.
Well, I mean, they had the puck in their own zone. Foglieta was nowhere near it. And it's Sage, of all people. And it's been that kind of thing. I said to Van Horlick, well, why can't you tell them not to take stupid penalties? Because the ones I tell don't, and then it's somebody else that does.
Well, that's what happens. But here, I think this is the penalty. But boy, we sure had a great shot blocked here a minute ago by Gerry Moscaluk for the Victoria team. And we were told he's just providing this team with tremendous leadership, and there's no better way to show leadership than to get down and block some shots.
All right, Cougars on another power play here. They're 1 for 3 with the man advantage. We're in the last minute. The last thing the Bruins want to do is give up a late goal here. Aivazoff has it. Back to Moscaluk at the left point. Back for Aivazoff. Rolling puck. Tries to settle it. Did they freeze the pucks tonight? Sure been bouncing a lot. Moscaluk now to Aivazoff. Shot. Stop. Jakes blocked it. A little unorthodox. A little hurt. Gets back up again as the puck flips out of play. I think we're going to peek at the Western standings here real quickly, and you'll see Kamloops in first place. Kamloops with 52 points ahead of Victoria and New Westminster, but this was a big weekend for New West had they been swept.
Oh, had they been swept, or had they, or if they do in fact sweep, is a difference of 13 points. Just amazing, and they're right in there right now. They win here tonight, New West with 44 points, or for that matter, Victoria winning, getting up to 49. They're going to be in a position to challenge Kamloops for first place.
Well, somebody at home might be saying, how can you figure a difference of 13 points?
Well, it took us a while to do that before the game, Dan. I'm not going to do it for you here, but...
Well, Victoria played 3 in 3 nights, and there's, I don't know, we had it down perfect at that point. But I thought you wrote that one down. 33 seconds left in the period. It did make sense then, didn't it?
Oh, and it still does. I mean, they really, I mean, if they do take the 6 points with 3 wins, you start adding up the difference there with Victoria losses. I know what you're trying to do is get me to paint myself in a corner, and I'll refuse to do it. So I'll turn this right back over to you.
27 seconds left in the second period. Bruins shorthanded. In our intermission, we'll have a interview with Greg Hawgood, part of the World Junior team.
And we'll have a math lesson to figure this thing out.
But I think you need algebra for this guy.
Hey, he's going the wrong way.
And Van Horlick almost caught that puck over at the bench as it's flipped out of play, and he flips it up to a young spectator. And the faceoff originates in the center ice area. 22 seconds remaining now in the period.
I'll give you a little scary stat from the Bruins standpoint, Dan, with 22 seconds left here. When trailing at the end of 2 periods, New Westminster team has won 2 games and lost 10. So how do you like to have that one staring you in the face when you're down 3-1 going in the 3rd period?
10 seconds now left in the period, and the Cougars on their last possible rush here might get one shot here. There's Wolf rolling puck. Good block there by Phil Gregoire. Hawes tries to knock it out of the air. It is left sitting there as the buzzer sounds, and that's the end of the period. A period which featured only 1 goal, that by Hawes of New Westminster at 11:27. And we'll pick up the shots here, but your thoughts, Bill, please, on period number 2.
Well, if I didn't know better, I would swear we were watching a game in September as an exhibition game. It really doesn't look like mid-season hockey, and maybe that's the price you pay in junior hockey when you do schedule 72 games. That's a lot of hockey. You're going to have some dog games, and we'll pick up the shots right here.
Well, now they had 11 shots to 4 in that period, which...
Because if you hit it, it goes to them.
Here we got 1 goal, boys. Now we got to get 2 more.
Well,
Boys, keep it going.
the enthusiasm is certainly there from a verbal standpoint. I'd like to say, show me, do it on the ice.
They're in. Got any more shots?
They certainly did the job defensively.
Don't lost out there, boys.
All right, 11-4, the shots on goal in the 2nd period. New Westminster over Victoria, but a 3rd period will have to be pretty big for New West to mount a comeback, because Victoria, first of all, is not giving them 2 or 3 chances around the net, and when they get their 1, I think Flaherty's played very well.
They're jamming the front of the net, too. It seems like there's a fair amount of traffic in front of the net. Pucks are bouncing off people, deflected. We saw 2 or 3 end up in the crowd, and there's a lot of action and traffic in front of the goal, and it makes it tough to score. But it's also the kind of game that really can just absolutely change like that. I mean, a couple goals can just change this thing around so quick and make your head spin, because that is the very nature of junior hockey. But at this point, I just don't like the Bruins' chances. Victoria, although, might make a mistake if they go into a shell. They only had 4 shots that period, and it did look like they were trying to play a little more defensive than normal. Hey, it might work.
All right, Bill will have a look at the highlights in a few moments. Without doubt, the story in junior hockey this year did not take place in our country. It took place a few weeks ago in Moscow when Canada collected the gold medal at the World Junior Hockey Championships, and that's the subject of our 2nd period intermission feature with Lee Powell.
Gerry Moscaluk. That's Andersen from Moscaluk.
The Canadian junior team went unbeaten to win the gold medal at the World Tournament in Moscow. One of the key players, in fact the top scorer for Canada, was a premier Western Hockey League defenseman, Greg Hawgood of the Kamloops Blazers. Hawgood's back with the Blazers this weekend, and the jet lag can't erase the memories of a great tournament.
You know, we went over there to win the gold medal, and you know, it's kind of a dream to be able to say that I'm a part of a world's champion, and you know, like you say, it's very gratifying, and it's a privilege to say that I was on the team.
You went unbeaten, but the game that really did it for you was the 3-2 win over the Soviets.
Well, you know, we knew if we could come out without a loss in the first 4 that, you know, we had a great chance of winning the gold medal, and I think everybody dug down really deep, and it was a tough game, but you know, I'm really glad that we won.
It takes goaltending to win. You couldn't ask for a better job than what Jimmy Waite did.
Well, you know, Jimmy played great, and I think you have to give the defense and credits a little bit, forwards a little bit of credit too, because you know, Jimmy made a lot of great saves, but he was only making the first shot. I think a lot of the second and third shots that you usually get were being cleared by everybody, and I think we played great defensive hockey.
How did you find the tempo and the pace of international hockey on the big rink?
Well, you know, my game's skating and speed, and you know, I like you know, a little bit of change. It's a little break from the league, and you know, it's great competition, and you know, I like playing over there.
A lot of Canadian people that go over there say it's no fun, the hotels and the food and everything. How did the experience go for you?
Well, you know, that's exactly right. The hotel was, you know, probably the worst place in Vancouver would stay, and that's the best place that we stayed there. And the food, sometimes we'd eat 1 meal a day, and you know, that wasn't even very good. So you know, as bad as the conditions were, I think the team did a great job. We were really close, and the morale was great, and we overcame those little obstacles to, you know, to win the games.
There was a distinct Western Hockey League flavor to the Canadian gold medal winning team. In fact, 70% of the players came from the WHL. But Greg Hawgood says it was truly a Canadian win.
It's not really a Western thing. It's, you know, once you come down to it, it's Canada, and everybody played for the Canada.
It's a chance to see Rob Brown again. Do you think it was extra special for him, having not made last year's team, to come back from Pittsburgh and be part of the gold medal?
Well, I think there was a lot of controversy over Brownie not being picked last year, and he came over and he scored 7 goals for us, and he played well, and I think he was really happy. He wasn't playing that much in Pittsburgh, and he come down and got a chance to play, so he was really happy on being part of the team.
There's been a lot of talk about all the recent Canadian wins. Did you feel that it was a part of something bigger, or was it just a chance for the juniors to shine?
Well, I think Team Canada did very well in Advestia, and we went there and we weren't really worried about the things that went on around us. We wanted to just go in and win the games. It's good that they won, but we were more worried about ourselves, and we wanted to come home with the gold.
You come back to the Western Hockey League to find the Bruins in a bit of a slump and Victoria on your heels. It's going to be tight for first place for the Blazers. Well,
we got a few guys hurt, and myself and Mark Recchi, we shouldn't really be playing this weekend. We're really tired and fatigued, and the team's kind of down right now, and like I said, we got a lot of guys hurt and stuff, and Victoria's playing very well, so we just want to do as well as we can with the guys that we got, and when the guys get back, we'll try and pick it up again.
Craig, as you look back on your career in the Western Hockey League, there aren't too many worlds left to conquer. The points record for defensemen. You've won a Western League title and played in a Memorial Cup. You look ahead now, I guess, to the Boston Bruins, but maybe one more chance at the Memorial Cup.
Well, like you said, I've been there twice, and I've come up short both times. So, obviously, I'd like to go there and have a chance to win. But there's still a few personal goals, that I can achieve this year. And those come with the team. If the team wins and we play well, then the personal goals for myself come. I've had a pretty good career, and I got to be grateful to the WHL.
Greg, congratulations on the gold medal, and good luck the rest of the way.
Right, thank you.
Greg Hawgood has had a lot of success in his junior career, but none better than the gold medal win at the World Championship in Moscow. Hawgood back home readjusting to life in the Western Hockey League. This is Lee Powell for Western 4 Sports.
Welcome back to Queen's Park Arena. Dan Russell with Bill Wilms. We have played 2 periods. It is 3-1 in favor of the Victoria Cougars. We'd like to tell you it's been a great game tonight at Queen's Park. We'd love to say it's back and forth. We'd love to say there's been great scoring chances, but then we wouldn't want to lie. It's been lethargic, a little bit ragged, and I don't think a strong effort by either club particularly, but Victoria's made the better on their scoring chances, Bill.
You called it before, I thought just right. You called it a dog's breakfast, and it's exactly that out there. It's just a mess. Now, I don't know out of this, to be honest with you. We're going to watch carefully at how accurately and cleverly Victoria is playing, because we don't want to take credit away from them when it's due them, but it certainly isn't a very good game from the Bruins standpoint.
All right, that was the only goal of the second period you saw in the summary. 13-4 were the shots in favor of New Westminster. We're going to show you a few angles of the only goal of the second period.
I think with one goal we can show you 14 angles of this goal. No, I think Mike Hawes has got the best wrist shot on the hockey club. Now you watch him when he gets this pass in the slot. Now watch this. There's nothing else but a quick wrist shot. And I think at that position there, number 4 is just plainly overpowered. That's young Dwayne Keller. And when Hawes gets that kind of shot from that spot, he is just very, very good. I don't think there's a guy on the hockey club that shoots a puck with a wrist shot better. We'll get another look at it from a little lower level on here. Now watch this, right there. I mean, I've seen him do that many, many times this year. He just one-times it. It's one thing to one-time a wrist shot or a slap shot, but it's something else to take and one-time a snapshot, a wrist shot, because you got to get it on your stick and your timing has to be perfect.
Is this just strength?
Yeah, it's a lot of upper body strength. Look, he's calling for it right there. He gets himself in position. Watch this. Now, I mean, that is just a very good effort with his hands, and to get that, and with that much strength to get that much on the shot, you got to have strong arms, strong upper body, and Hawes at over 200 pounds certainly has that.
All right, no matter what ugly things we say behind their backs, they're still in the hockey game, and I think with a strong third period could still get a result.
I didn't think they played very well against Seattle the last game that we did until they really turned around, started to play, and won the thing. They were losing going into the third period at that time, and came back and won it. It's one of the 2 games the newest Bruins have won when trailing going into the third period. And hopefully from their standpoint, we hate to say this for the Cougar fans of Victoria, but I guess we kind of hope that they might just come back and make a game out of this, because they certainly haven't played all that great to this point. And it does look like a tired hockey club. I watched a couple guys get up off the ice when falling, and they were getting up slowly.
Okay, as we start the period, the New West Bruins are shorthanded here for the next few seconds, as Stu Sage is in the penalty box for about 45 seconds, as the Cougars are on their 4th power play of the night. So this is obviously an initial key as far as the New West Bruins are concerned, pulling off that first penalty. Bill Gregoire gets possession of the puck, can't get it out. Aivazoff holds it in, plays it back to Will Andersen at the right point, winds up, shoots, and it went off the body of Gregoire, who I think's played quite well for New Westminster tonight, and in amongst the seats.
I think Gregoire's been the best player on the ice for the Bruins, certainly from a defensive standpoint.
There's a peek at the Eastern standings, led by Saskatoon and Prince Albert.
Yeah, you see the Toon up on top, and Speedy Creek there in 4th.
And not very much to choose between the top 5, and then top 6 do make the playoffs. So Lethbridge and Brandon.
And we see Lethbridge next Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken, Dan.
You are not. The Lethbridge
Hurricanes.
Right.
Got it.
You wanted to say Broncos there, didn't you?
Canes for short. And I just want to say to the people in Victoria, I don't want hundreds of letters here, Dan, calling us homers, but after following the Bruins as much as we do, and we don't get a chance to see all that many games, yeah, we kind of become a little bit Bruins fans, but we'll certainly give credit where it's due, and if Victoria is a better hockey club for the 60 minutes, may they well win.
But if you want to write, sure, go ahead.
Just address all the correspondence to our producer.
Western 4 Television. There's a shot. There's a shot that goes wide. Jay Moore gets possession. We might flash the address for complaints to Bill Wilms, care of Western 4, if you want. Comes out to Aivazoff. Center ice. In over the line. He flips it to the corner, and when I say to the corner, I mean to the corner of the rink, right out the exit. Bruins back at full strength. Looking down the Victoria lineup, I don't believe we have seen their affiliate player, number 19, Greg Allen, play a shift yet. He was brought up for this game.
He hails from Coquitlam and has been played his minor hockey in Coquitlam, currently playing with the Nanaimo Clippers, BC Junior Hockey League. It does look, as you see right here, the Victoria very intent on sending one forechecker in and making sure that they come back, and that usually is a sign that you're playing a pretty defensive game.
Shot by Hawes, good, saved by Flaherty, who has been sharp tonight. Foglieta against Moore on that battle. Moore won it. Cougars get possession, dump it to the near corner. Moore being chased by Len Barrie.
There again, you see the one forechecker.
It's like a half-court press.
Well, what happens is that you likely see the Bruins carry the puck out up the middle, and you've got your 2 Victoria defensemen stand at the blue line and meet him.
Barrie from center ice, 3 Bruins around him. He waits for Foglieta to join him before dumping it to the corner, and Moore gets possession. Back the other way comes New West. Moore flips it in. He too heads to the bench on a line change. 5 fresh Bruins hop over the boards. 2 minutes gone, 3rd period. 3-1 Cougars. Gregoire for New West. Around the boards, giving chase. Still Gregoire. Barnes to the corner, puck loose. Nibs trying to get possession. Intercepted. Here comes Moscaluk. Moscaluk as a defenseman fell. Here he comes, right in. Oh, and Imoo fell too, but he still made the save. Wow, that's bizarre. Gregoire fell, Imoo fell, and yet he still made the save. Imoo was off balance.
So, I'm not so sure. This is Moscaluk. Does Imoo fall on this one, or is that his way of making the save? No, he trips, absolutely. He was lucky to keep his pads in position there. Yeah, and going over, moving to his right to make the save on Moscaluk, who's really a fine rusher with the puck. One of the many Cougars, and there's about 7 of them heading for the All-Star game, this year. Imoo lucky to keep his position there.
There's a chance in front of the net. Puck is loose. It's still scrambly as nothing's changed from the first 2 periods. Gregoire has it. Now to Daniels. Long pass for Rennie. That can't click. Neither team unable to complete 2 or 3 passes in a row here. Icing is finally the call. And the faceoff will originate back in Bruin territory.
I'll clarify that. It's 4 Cougars going to the All-Star game. Wolf, Aivazoff, Savage, and Moscaluk. It's 3 Bruins for a total of 7 players from the game attending this year's All-Star game. And from the Bruins, we have Barnes, Lebrun, and Jason Moore.
Last year, the East won 4-3 in a game played at Regina. This year's game's in Kamloops. Coaches will be Ken Hitchcock and Graham James. 2:42 gone, 3rd period. 3-1 Victoria. They had 3 goals in the 1st period. Snesar, and then 2 by Aivazoff. Hawes in the 2nd period.
You just watch if they lose the face-off into the Bruin end here, whether Kamloops will send 2 men in a forecheck or just the 1. And you can see it is just 1 man checking. This is what you call a 1-2-2 forechecking system. 1 man deep, 2 halfway back, and 2 defensemen on the blue line.
Puck flipped in. Will Andersen has possession. Through center ice. Andersen puts it to the blue line, knocked right back out again. Moscaluk brings it in, and it is called on the offside. Well, you know, even though Victoria is leading 3-1, we should point out that their 3 goals came in a span of 3.5 minutes in the 1st period. And other than that, they have nothing tonight.
Oh, they're playing very tight defensively right now. You have to hand it to them. If they're going to play the remaining 16 minutes and 51 seconds this way, it could be lights out as far as the Bruins are concerned. They're going to have to generate some offense, and New West is having a very difficult time doing that right now. Even in their worst of times, in their losing streaks, Dan, the Bruins were always capable of putting some pucks in the net. Right now, they've only got 1. And, you know, 4 goals tonight would still win this hockey game.
Another delayed offside will be nullified as the Bruins get possession.
Great rule.
You like that one, do you?
Can't believe it hasn't been in hockey sooner.
That's the one for people that don't know. If you clear the zone on the delayed offside, it's automatically nullified before the team had to come out of their own zone.
Finish!
Barnes coming in on goal, centering it. Big scramble, and it's taken away by the Cougars, who start a 3-on-1 rush in over the blue line. This is Burr, winds up, shoots. That's blocked by the lone defenseman, back Moore. And Lebrun starts back the other way. Well, it has its moments this game. Lebrun making moves, trying to get in around the defense. Stood up nicely there by Sumner. He stayed with them. Ends up down the ice. Cougars going to be called for icing as Gregoire touches the puck. Oh, we had some action there, Bill.
Well, we had a 3-on-1, no question about that. I question the validity or the wiseness of the shot.
Damn it, that's twice tonight now.
He's explaining the fact there that they got caught.
Don't say that, eh? We're on TV here, buddy. Yeah, great. You look like...
You don't think he knows the mic's on, do you?
Yeah, look at that great play. This is Stu Barnes at his best. What a nice little deep going around, pass in front.
There's a shot by Jakes that goes wide. I don't know what he said. Can we back up a replay on audio? Behind the net. It's controlled. There's no control right now. Now the Cougars, Aivazoff goes in to try to get control, and he comes out with it. Knocked it off the boards to center ice. Well, you gotta like John Van Horlick, even when he's mad at a player, he ends up smiling about a half-second later.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was talking to Greg Allen at that point, who hasn't really seen the ice, so he's got nothing to be mad at him about yet.
You mean Troy Arndt?
Wasn't that 19, Greg Allen?
Wrong team.
Gotcha.
That's okay. You called me yawning earlier in the game. I got you now.
Folks,
Jakes.
it's that kind of game.
Now through center ice, Gregoire puts it in. Flaherty gets possession. Will Andersen from center ice flips it into New West territory. Behind the net, Phillips trying to get possession of it. Troy Arndt has it for New West. Banks it off the boards and out to center ice. 5.5 minutes gone, third period. Next goal's a big one. 3-1 the score. Victoria leads New West. Moore, who's had a good third period here, skating quickly, and center ice wrapped it in. Flaherty, the goalie, leaves it there. Jason Phillips, hit from Coquitlam, knocks it out to center ice. Barrie is stood up at the line, and we have a hurt player way back there. Is that Keller?
It is Dwayne Keller, and he went down in a heap. He slid right across the width of that ice almost over there. There's been a couple times tonight the Victoria players have tried to draw a penalty by diving a little bit, and the referees had no part of this, but I can assure you this is not a fake in any way. He's hurt. And by the looks of that broken stick on the ice, I just kind of hope it wasn't broken over this young man's body.
Well, Keller.
Slashes have a way of doing that. I don't even think there's a penalty on this play. But he is certainly in pain.
But off on his own steam, which is good news.
BCJHL viewers will recognize and remember Dwayne Keller as he hails from the Wanda Fuca Gulls. Comes from Port Alberni, playing his second year with the Cougars.
Well, this might be the beginning of it on our replay here. Let's have a look. Number 4 right there.
Oh, yeah, he's dumped pretty heavily right there.
As we get back to action here, Barnes' shot was stopped by Flaherty from routine fashion near the circle. Cougars get it out to center ice. Wolf skating with it by himself, flips it to the corner.
Now that's what Andrew does well. He carried that puck out of his end beautifully, right along the wall, along a lot of traffic.
Wolf is in another draft here, but again, he has to be taken in the first 3 rounds, or else he's not eligible. One of those confusing rules about the draft. Barnes got in so tight, didn't get a shot. Nibbs avoids a check, goes behind the net, trying to center it. Young's in front. Here's a chance. Oh, and it just slips wide as Troy Arndt had a good chance. Bruins trying to put a flurry around the net. Again, another icing call. Jakes touches it, icing Victoria. You don't think they're content to hold on?
Well, they're doing a marvelous job for the first 7 minutes of the period of playing with that one checker, and just really what that happens, what that leads to when you have one checker and your 2 wingers coming back, by the time those 2 back-checking wingers get up to your own blue line, you have in effect 4 guys across the line, and that's exactly what the Bruins are running into. When they do get to the Victoria zone, they're running into a lot of blue shirts.
Here's a chance for Daniels coming out of the corner. Moscaluk gets possession of it. And he's tripped up, but the referee allows it to continue. Spenrath shot, good block by Will Andersen. Not always known for his defensive capabilities, but Will Andersen takes a great block. Cougars again called for icing. Let's have another look at that block. That was a good block in front of the net.
No matter how you forecheck in terms of number of players you send in, 1 or 2, you still have to play a completely different situation in your own end, and the Cougars very guilty of allowing the Bruins away from the wall behind their own net to make that pass to the front, at which time the Victoria player Andersen had to make the block, and a good one he did make.
Face-off will go to the left.
Still standing too close to him.
Rennie to take the draw. Unfortunately, we don't get another look at that against Len Barrie, but it was a good block by Will Andersen, possibly saving a goal there, which would have put the Bruins right back in it. No icing this time, but again, the Cougars do clear at the length of the ice. 3rd straight time they've done that.
Now look, now you look for 4 guys right across the line.
Here's Daniels with some room, not very much, and his shot is quickly knocked out of play. And the face-off again in Victoria territory. 12 minutes, 28 seconds to go in the 3rd period. The program you are watching is copyright intended solely for non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction of any sort is strictly prohibited, as we get a 10-minute misconduct penalty to Pat Bingham, I believe. Is that Bingham getting a 10-minuter?
There's a whole bunch of guys on the ice right now, and somebody in that crowd's going to skate over there. The hands went on the hips. It is Bingham. You lose the services of Bingham for 10 minutes, and that's exactly the way the coach feels about it. But you are not playing shorthanded in this case.
Oh, here's Bingham.
Oh, here's the block, I think. Here's the pass coming out. No, that is. There's the pass right there. No, the shot just wide. No.
Moscaluk gets possession. Captain of the Cougars. Knocked off stride. Barnes intercepts. Here comes in front of the net. Lebrun. Oh, it just almost snuck through. Flaherty almost could be thanking his lucky stars, I think, on that one, Bill. He was going the other way. Get some rust up after the whistle, but boy, that was close.
Well, Barnes had the chance to make it a 2-on-1, and I think he attempted to pass the puck and had to pass it a little higher than he would have liked, to change direction, and with Flaherty going across the net to play the pass, it ended up deflecting off his man to the side of the net. He was just leaving, and you're very right. He was lucky to just kind of make the save. Here's a mix-up along the boards, and who comes out of there but Barnes with the puck, and watch the pass. He gets it up a little high. It hits the defenseman and ends up going back to the side of the net that Flaherty is just leaving, and luckily he keeps his pad there. He's been good. He's been good and a little bit lucky with a couple goal posts, but he's played very, very well in goal.
Number 7, Victoria penalty to number 18, Clayton Young. 2 minutes each for roughing. The time 7:51.
7:51. You heard the coincidental minors called, and now we've got more talking going on down there near the penalty box area.
Clayton looking right through the back of Jason Moore, who lists his childhood idol as Darwin McPherson.
Who's out of the lineup with a separated shoulder. I missed him a bit tonight. Lebrun tries to drop it back for Barnes. It's 4 against 3 right now for New Westminster. Aivazoff, 2 goals tonight. Flips it in.
4-on-4.
Now it's 4-on-4. Barnes comes back the other way. Barnes holding, shoots, saved by Flaherty. Big pile up after he holds on. Boy, some nights those goalies look so big, don't they? Cover a lot of that net. Flaherty's played very well tonight. Looks like he's going to be tough to beat from here on in.
Clever stick work. There's a case where, you know, you get the good players like Barnes, the good goal scorers. Watch Barnes with this puck come up the ice here, and he just makes an outstanding play. There's a good save in the Bruin end, but watch what he does with the puck here on his stick. This is what your good goal scorers are able to do. Little deke, hold it on the toe of your club, cradle it in, but if he doesn't shoot it right at the center of the goalkeeper there, he might make it a much more difficult save, but still, excellent stick work, puck handling skills by Barnes.
Puck comes out to center ice. Jakes gets possession of it there. Clubs at equal strength here, 1 man short. Jakes. Cross ice pass. Picked up there by Gregoire. Continues to rush nicely with the puck. Fell that time.
Oh, that's a submarine move.
Possession by Barrie. His pass over here to Keller. Now a nice pass in front for Andrew Wolf. He scores, or does he? The goalie's very hurt, I believe. Did the puck go in?
That is a heavy-duty collision.
Boy, I'm surprised the net didn't move. Imoo seems very hurt. Is the puck in the net?
I don't think anybody knows.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think so anymore.
And I'll tell you why, because as soon as a collision occurred at this point,
penalty?
Andrew Wolf, the hand went up. Now, I don't understand the penalty, but the hand did go up, so it appeared he was calling it before the stoppage in play actually occurred. In fact, that was the reason for the stoppage of play.
I don't see
that is a massive collision.
I don't know, Bill. I don't see how he could call that before Andrew Wolf had the puck. What could have he been doing?
Exactly. I'd be interested to hear what the call actually is, unless it's a charge.
Well, I don't understand this call at all, but more concerned is Dusty Imoo, who has not really moved since. We'll look at this again, I'm sure, in a moment. Also surprising is that the nets that have more give in recent years, that one didn't give at all.
Well, they went right into the middle of it. I don't think there was much contact on the post. This is Andrew Wolf breaking right through. Now, see, he goes right through the back of the net.
I don't know what the fans are responding to now. We were looking at a replay. I think maybe what he's saying, Bill, is that if we look at that replay, the time I noticed there is after he shot, he brought his stick right up and perhaps cross-checked. Watch
well,
here.
At this point here, the shot
watch
is
there, bang, cross-check afterwards.
Well, if that's what it is, a charge or a cross-check, it's certainly at that play, but you know, that's in slow motion. We can clearly see that at that speed. You see that at the regular speed that it happened. Boy, there isn't very much time for Andrew to get his stick up.
I think he's more trying to brace himself. I don't think he's trying. Where'd the puck go?
Well, I think it hit his glove and bounced out into the corner. But somebody is getting a misconduct or game misconduct penalty. Heading out of the game is Len Barrie.
On the point with...
Perhaps we can have one more look at it. And
I'm surprised Imoo's able to get up, and it looks like he's staying in there.
Yeah.
Ray Woodley hasn't taken the towel off his neck even.
He's got a shield around his neck area. That could have helped him out in that collision. Perhaps if we have one more look, we'll try to find the puck. I was looking more at the collision.
Well, you watch it bounce off his left
#7,
arm.
Andrew Wolf, 5 minutes for charging.
Wow.
The Victoria's
man, I can
number
see possibly
16,
2, but not 5.
Len Barrie, and the Bruins number 4, Steve Jakes. A 10-minute misconduct and a game misconduct. Time of the penalties, 9:02.
You think he likes his authority, this ref?
I was just going to say, do you think he may be over-calling this game a bit?
Boy, it sure does not look like a game that features 7 misconducts so far of some sort. And a 5-minute penalty for what looked to be more of a case of
self-defense.
Right. Shot by Hawes doesn't reach the net.
I don't know if it's possible to see that at regular speed, because I'm telling you, it happened so quick, it's hard to believe he had time to even think about getting a stick up to charge. Never mind the 5 minutes. That's got to be deliberate.
I think a 5-minute has to be deliberate, almost an intent to hurt. But I don't know.
Well, here it is. We got a 4-on-3 situation.
Sage controls the puck behind the net to Rawson, or at the side rather, and he missed coming out. Big chance for the Bruins here. 5-minute power play, and it won't end if they score a goal. It was 4 against 3. Now it's 5 against 4. They try to get things going here. Boy, they need a power play goal, and they've 0 for 5 without one right now. Gregoire, who's played well, with the puck. Back to the point. Shot by Sage is high. Flaherty stops it and well out to pounce on it as well.
The advantage, if we could see this again, the advantage of starting your power play like that from behind the net is you get all 4 Cougars watching the guy behind the net. Believe me, there's 4 pairs of eyes looking at behind. Not one guy's watching this guy right there. Now you got to get that shot away a little bit quicker than that. But that's a good strategy. Get the puck in behind the net. You get all the guys looking at you. You can have things happen behind. You can get guys sneaking into holes, into slots. They have to come up with something a little more creative than they have been at this point. And that's a good start.
All right, there is 3:51 left in Wolf's major penalty for charging. I don't think I've ever seen a major in that situation before. Bruins win the draw, comes back to Moore at the point. Over here to Gregoire, lots of room, moves in, shoots, scores! Bill Gregoire. Power play, it's 3-2 Victoria.
On the replay, I want you to watch a guy in front of the net that really makes this possible. It looks like there's a Bruin there who does a great job of screening and holding a Cougar out of the play that allows Gregoire to walk in with this shot. And it really does just trickle through the goalkeeper's legs. But there's a good job in front of the net done by a Bruin in moving the man out of the way. I'll find it, see who it is, right as Lebrun. 18 has done a great job. He just got all this time because Lebrun in front of the net is not allowing the other defenseman to move up. And they don't lose the power play advantage.
Here's Moore cutting in. They're back in it and on a power play for still some time. Bruins not played well tonight, but back in the hockey game. 9:26 left in the period. Barnes from the point. Now to Lebrun. Shot. Stopped by Flaherty. Rebound.
Bruins'
It's
second
held on
goal,
to by
scored by
Flaherty.
number 25, Bill Gregoire. assisted by number 7, Jason Moore, and number 14, Stu Barnes. The time, 10:18.
Here comes the pass to Gregoire. We might be able to see the front of the net a little bit better here now. Look at the clearing that Lebrun's doing. What a great job of moving that man out of the way and letting him walk in. And again, it's Dwayne Keller this time victimized in front of the net.
And a great job by our Western 4 sports staff. What a fine replay that was. And we've had great work tonight from our sports staff, led by Paul Bertel, our producer-director. Hope you're enjoying our telecast tonight from Queen's Park Arena.
If anything is going to fire and pump this club up, it's got to be that goal, plus the fact they still have 3 minutes left in a power play.
In over the line, Daniels stood up. Will Andersen knocks it out to center ice. Sage has it. Waits for his mates to get onside before backhanding it right off the referee's head. Hawes gets it, shot, scores!
Well,
he's not counting it.
I cannot believe this.
No goal. The whistle is blown on a penalty of some sort. And I don't know if the referee had his bell rung when the puck hit him in the head. But Darren Loris has stopped it for a roughing penalty. And I got to see where that one comes from.
And if that might be the worst penalty to take in this entire hockey game, and if that's the kind of things that are losing games for this team, then really you almost can't feel too sorry for them. Let's see what Coach Van Horlick's got to say about that one.
Spenrath, number 26. There's the puck,
there's
hits him in the head.
Nothing's happening to right.
26, Greg Spenrath.
Well, he
2
works
minutes
him
for
over
roughing.
pretty good.
The time, 11:15. The goal is disallowed.
Dumb penalty.
There's a chance for Lebrun, but he can't catch up with it. Now he does, and he shoots it off the side of the net. Oh boy, when it leads to the tying goal, it can't be more glaring than that.
What is that, Will?
They're at equal strength right now, and the Cougars have the possession of the puck. It may be off the hook as far as the major is concerned. Offside stops the play. 8:24 left, 3-2. Hawes appears to have tied it, yet it was a roughing penalty by Spenrath as he got his gloves around Will Andersen. I think it's a pretty good call.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. There's really no need. I think what Spenrath might be trying to do is interfere a bit here, but he works him over pretty good. And the thing is, he's working him over. I'll bet he's 20 feet from the referee. He's got to be 5 yards away at most, 15, 20 feet. You can't do that with the referee looking, you know, right at the play, even if he's had his bell rung with a puck hitting him in the head.
Yeah, good presence of mind by the referee to stay with the play. Moore through center ice. They're at equal strength. He's skating far better in the third period, I think, than he did in the first two. Lebrun. Dumped a bit, and the puck comes out to center ice. Well, they've had a claw for everything they've got tonight. Here's Barnes cutting in, drop pass shot, wide. Lebrun put it wide. Back comes Phillips. Trying to split the defense, leaves it. Shot taken by Keller, doesn't reach the goal. Collision behind the net as the Bruins start out. 7:30 left in the third period. 3-2 Victoria. Strange game. Barnes. Knocked off his feet. Slashes at the Cougar player, Snesar. Face off. Snesar, kid from Abbotsford. His father and Al Patterson, the GM, good buddies. In fact, his father and Al played old-timer hockey at Port Coquitlam. That's where he met him. And Snesar used to come out and watch the old-timer games and ends up playing for Al Patterson's club. Checking another replay here.
This again is Barnes, crafty as ever, trying to slip it through his legs and go around behind it, unable to do so. It looks like New Westminster is still going to have a just rather under a minute power play when Spenrath's penalty does expire, because we still have the 5-minute major.
Come on, Clay, don't skate by.
The Wolf in the box.
Come on, Clay.
And Arndt did not hold it in at the goal line, so it's offside at the goal line. There's a minute 1 left in the major.
and 14 seconds.
Thank you.
Bruin penalty.
Our next telecast is a week from tonight. Lethbridge Hurricanes against the New West Bruins. Will Andersen, formerly played for the Kamloops Blazers, flips it out to center ice. Barrie over the blue line. Used to be Victoria property. Traded for Brent Hughes. Sage now has possession. Bruins on the power play. Hawes gets the puck. And it's intercepted. Here comes Phillips with a possible breakaway. Phillips rolling puck. Shot, scores! Phillips, a big shorthanded goal with 6:24 left as he fended off a good back-checking effort. And Phillips, showing his strength, beat Imoo cleanly.
I thought Jason Phillips was strangely quiet tonight. I hadn't seen very much of him until that particular rush, and what he did so well all last year for the Richmond Sockeyes was play in specialty situations like killing penalties. And really, I thought Hawes, I think it was Hawes, closed the gap on him all the way. He was side by side with him, but that little extra effort by Phillips was able to outmaneuver the man. Now that's Hawes with the puck in the corner there, and it's just taken right off the stick, and that's the danger of playing with a puck at the blue line. Now, it's a pretty good race at this point, but at this point right there, I thought Hawes had him, but boy, that's a good job at Phillips of shouldering him out of the play, and Imoo giving him a little too much net.
Number 9, Jason Phillips, unassisted. The time, 13:36.
A big, big goal, especially when you consider what the Bruins had disallowed 2.5 minutes ago. And now the Cougars are back at full strength. Wow. 4-2 the score. Victoria leads it. Here's Lebrun shooting. Stop. Rebound. Barnes still with possession. Drops it back, and it's now the Cougars with possession. Back they come. Clayton Young. Imoo made the save. Gave away the puck on the clearance to Lebrun. Lebrun gets it again. This time he loses it. And he skates out now with the puck on the left board through center ice. Now to Barnes, heads towards the net. 3 Cougars there.
Finish!
Young has it. Intercepted. Moore. Now to Young. Moore in over the line. There's 5 Cougars all around Moore. Barnes does his best. Now the Cougars will come out with the puck. And they flip it out to center ice. Well, 2 goals will seem like 5 now. The way the Cougars teams have been checking in the last 2 periods. With 3 goals in a 3.5 minute span in the first period, they hung on as long as they can to that lead until the Bruins made it 3-2, and now they've just added a shorthanded goal, 4-2, and there's 4.5 minutes left, and it's offside at the blue line.
I don't think that New West is ever going to be a really strong club to be really contended with until they develop a way of going down with much more fight in their own building. I think at this point this has been much too easy a hockey game. As you see the goal, this is the one that puts them ahead by 2. There's a good little muscle at the end there. He kind of gets a puck that stands up on end, puts it in the corner of the net. But I'm a little surprised at how easily the Bruins are going down to this point in the game, and it ain't over yet, but they just really haven't. It's been far too easy for the Cougars.
Well, they don't seem to dictate the tone in their own rink like they used to at the start of the year. And when we asked John Van Horlick about that prior to the game, he said teams are not as reluctant to bump with us, or are reluctant now to bump with us, as opposed to at the front of the year when I guess they went in blind against the Bruins. So I suggested to Van Horlick, then is the scouting report around the league don't wake up the Bruins? And he said, yeah, I think that's it.
That's certainly what it looks like tonight. We don't want to downplay the fact it is 3 games in 3 nights. And 2 road games, or pardon me, 1 road game with the 2 home games Friday and Sunday. They may be tired, but that's exactly right. They really haven't woken this club up to play tonight yet.
Darwin McPherson has been with the Bruins the longest. Kathy McCannarin, our winner.
That's a clear-cut race, and at that point right there, I thought it was won by the Bruins. And looking at the statistics, that is only Phillips' second shorthanded goal for the Victoria team this year, and incidentally, that is only the 6th shorthanded goal the Bruins have given up all year. In the meantime, they have scored 11 times while being shorthanded.
28 goals on the year for Phillips, unassisted at 1336. And give the Bruin fans credit, they certainly haven't left the building. They're hanging in till the end, 3:48 to go in the third period. Definitely a big point of this game was in the third period here when Bruins appeared to have tied the game, only to have a roughing penalty away from the puck. Nullified the goal, take them off the 5-minute power play. It looked like the Bruins had tied it. Puck flipped into Cougar territory and it's called on icing. And the faceoff will originate back in New West territory. And I don't think you can blame Dusty Imoo, the goalie. He has certainly not played outstanding, but he hasn't played poorly either.
The 3 goals that got them in the deep hole early in the game were really not a whole lot of his fault. He was left completely at the mercy of a couple of the shooters, but late in the game here now, it looks like Lebrun, number 18, playing defense. I think that's the first shift he's had tonight back on the blue line, and probably there to give the team a little added punch coming out of their zone. Maybe some shots from the point as well.
Well, they have 4 forwards and 1 defenseman out there, so they're thinking goals right now. Perhaps we'll watch Dusty Imoo, see if they're going to pull him early.
You see, what's happening here with this one-man forechecking, it's so tough for the Bruins to find somebody open to give the puck to. I mean, at this point, everybody's covered, so look what happens. You end up giving it away to them. Everybody's covered right now. There isn't anybody. Now, that's going to go down the middle. You ain't going to get very far when you go down the middle. Dump it out.
2:50 to go as Lebrun goes back to get possession. And the Cougars putting on a clinic here, checking the last few minutes. See what happens here. Drop pass Hawes, backhand shot. Flaherty makes save, rebound, scores! Shawn Lebrun scores, and the Bruins are back in it for the moment.
They looked so good, Victoria did, from the Bruin end to their own blue line. And then everything falls apart on them. They absolutely forget to check anybody in front of it. Yeah, I'd come back and apologize to my goalkeeper too. And I'm sure that's not exactly what he's doing right there. Gerry Moscaluk, he's probably encouraging him, but really, you watch this, there's just no reason in the world for the Bruins to get this close to the Victoria net. That's Hawes with it. That's the puck ends up hitting Andrew Wolf's stick and bouncing to the side, where it is Lebrun, I believe, that
finished. Goal scored by number 18, Shawn Lebrun.
His 22nd.
Assisted by number 12, Mike Hawes.
You got to see that one to see the goal in its entirety. You got to see it a little bit further back, right from here. All of a sudden, everything falls apart. Look, right there. Once he picked that puck up in that zone, it was lights out as far as the scoring chance is concerned. He's going to get a shot on the net. And again, we remind you that's Hawes, and he is so good at getting the puck on the net. And yeah, I'd look a little worried too if I was Wayne Nash.
I think all 3 of the goals have been in around the Flaherty pad area and just slithered through. And he's had a little trouble with shots down there, but by and large, he's played quite well tonight for Victoria. There's 2:18 left. It's 4-3 Victoria. And they get a whistle to stop the play in the corner, and now we got pushing and shoving. And now the faceoff's going to come outside the blue line, I would think, with Nibs pinching in. Moore goes back, so I don't know if the faceoff will. And they pinch in.
See, those blue shirts keep backing up. It deflects off a stick, and Lebrun, and who's in front being victimized for the 3rd time on a goal? Dwayne Keller.
Penalties coming up here. 17:46 the time, and I think each team's going to get 1 penalty here, and the faceoff will come out to center ice. And the reason the faceoff will come out in the neutral zone is that the Bruins pinched in, but for no real apparent reason.
What do we got, 4 guys out there?
Yeah. 4.
Hawes, get out there. Time out here. Barnes, Lebrun, Moore.
Bruins penalty, number 21.
Well, you got Barnes, Lebrun,
Victoria
Moore,
penalty, number 11.
and Hawes going out, I think, on this one.
17:46.
Let's pick up the comments of John Van Horlick here.
On the point, you and Shawn on the point. Hawsey and Barnesy.
Hey, Dust, you ready? Anybody? Come on now.
Stu, you and Scotty. Almost. That's what I like, somebody that's sharp. You got her, Bill. Troy's not happy about that. This is the worst part about coaching, though. That pisses me off. You know, because I was always the guy.
Come on, we want to hear what pees him off. I think the worst on that sentence was over.
I think so too.
Get over, get over, get over.
We got a little trigger.
Oh!
What a hit. Here's Hawes picking up the loose puck. And he can't get a shot away. Good job back checking by Phillips.
Dwayne Keller, meet Mr. Moore. Come on, get out here, Clay!
Barnes. Lebrun. 4-on-4 hockey. Moore. Trying to center it. Moore. Lebrun.
Yo, finish him!
Pass intercepted. Minute and a half left. Phillips from center ice. Right now his shorthanded goal is the one that is standing up to be the difference. Barnes. Hawes. Flips it in. Line change. Will Andersen gets to it first. There's a minute 12 left. Check on the boards. Sage puts it to the corner. Rawson has it. Centering pass. Lebrun shot on goal is high. Turnaround shot by Sage. Rawson can't get it. Flipped out a play. Could be a penalty.
Wow, that's got to be close. The referee looking that one over.
He's not going to call it. Wow, that's deliberately shooting the puck out of the rink.
Certainly looked like from here. You see Imoo heading for the box, you know, and the Bruins have not got a timeout. They can't regroup. They can't get together again and get some fresh troops out there. They've got to go with what they've got. Watch the hit. That young Mr. Keller has had a rough time tonight. Well, somebody's called a timeout. Now here, I'm not too sure about this. They just had their top gunners on the ice. They had Moore, they had Barnes, they had Lebrun, and Victoria called a timeout. I would have thought that maybe it would have been to their advantage with 57 seconds left not to call it at this particular time. This gives the Bruins a chance to regroup.
Bill, Lebrun, see if you know, hey, stick him a little bit on the draw. Just see if you can draw a penalty. If the guy punches you in the head, we wouldn't hurt to take a
penalty. We'll finish the sentence for him, but that's what he wants to do, is give him a little shot on the face-off here. Maybe see if he could draw a penalty.
Is this delay of the game?
Where's the screen? Oh, I mean, he gets a lot of wood on that to make sure he gets it up high.
Now what's going on here?
Well, we knew there'd be a little face-off interference of some sort here.
Somebody's upset. I don't understand what went on there.
Well, the net's open.
5 attackers against 4. Cougars win the draw, face it down the ice. 48 seconds to go. Lebrun backhands it into Victoria territory. Flaherty, the goalie, leaves it for Wolf. Wolf flips it to his teammate. Got it to Young. Clayton Young lost the puck to Lebrun. Lebrun plays it back to Gregoire. Winds up, shoots. Doesn't reach the net. Rebound in front. Oh, Barnes does a chance for Sage. And he doesn't get a shot away. Well, the Bruins did everything but. Offside at the the blue line as they put it in an empty net. No goal, offside.
In the midst of all this action, there is a fabulous save. Flaherty makes a great save to the side of the net here. We'll just let this play unfold, and you watch the save Flaherty makes here.
Oh, my.
The goalkeeper.
Barnes, I think, took too long.
Right off this scramble coming up here in a minute, he's right there. He's got his goal stick on the ice. That puck had to go up and over the goal stick.
Great pass by Barnes. He got it back to Sage, who couldn't get a clear shot away.
A couple spectators in our view there certainly thought it was in, as we did for a minute. We've got 22 seconds left. The same 5 guys have been on the ice for the last minute, and that's about the way the Bruins have to have it. They got their big guns out there.
22 seconds left. 5 Bruins, 4 Cougars. Empty net for the Bruins. Moore gets possession. They gotta hurry. Nice pass. Gregoire shoots. Doesn't reach the net. Wolf blocked it. Gregoire centering it. Puck loose. Scramble. Goes back to the point. Can Sage hold it in? It's their only chance. He does not. It's 5 seconds. Puck goes down the ice and misses. 2 seconds. The Cougars win it 4-3. The Victoria Cougars. 4 New Westminster Bruins, 3. Some anxious moments in the last little bit. But the Cougars do hold on for a big victory at Queen's Park.
The most action obviously happened in the last 2 minutes of this hockey game. And you thought that for a minute there, with the Bruins enjoying a 5-minute penalty, they might just make a little bit more of it. We'll pick up the shots here.
Well, hopefully we can maybe interview the goalie of the Victoria Cougars, Wade Flaherty, who I think was as good as any player on the ice tonight. Certainly, I think he's a Victoria star, and him and Aivazoff had a pair of goals.
I thought he did play outstandingly well when he had to. He didn't have a completely easy time there. This isn't to suggest that the Bruins overpowered him, but in any 60-minute game, any team's going to get 4 or 5 or 6 really good scoring opportunities, and Flaherty was there to make some good saves.
But a bizarre hockey game in a way. It's kind of, go down in the books as 4-3, and the Bruins, as it turned out, had chances to get the equalizer. At one point appeared to have the equalizer prior to Phillips getting that big shorthanded goal. But when you spot a team with 3-0 lead after 1, it's all uphill after that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that it's in your own building or not. You're absolutely right. You just can't give a team 3 goals and come back unless you're a very potent offensive team. And I might mention, unless you're a team that's got a very good specialty team. If you've got an awesome power play, Dan, you can certainly spot teams some goals because you know you're going to get 4 or 5 power play situations to get them back. And they just don't have it. Their power play is just too anemic.
Okay, I think we're going to look at the game-winning goal by Jason Phillips here. Well, short-handed.
Well, you see, there's a little bit of play with the puck at the blue line, and anytime that you do have some problems controlling the puck at the opposing blue line, and you've got your men moving in, and they're coming out, you're going to get this kind of a situation occur, and that's what happened. It was a loose puck. It sometimes just takes a little deflection to get the puck into the clear, and you get a breakaway.
The 3 stars, as you look at the summary that we chose, were Wade Flaherty, Bill Gregoire, and Will Andersen. We'll try to get a hold of Wade Flaherty in a moment. A comment about the play of Bill Gregoire, your first look at Bill in a New West Bruin uniform.
Well, one thing about Coach Van Horlick is when they do get new players, I don't care if it's a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, whoever he is, he's going to get a chance to play. And Bill Gregoire got a chance to play tonight, as well he should. He's a veteran hockey player. He's been around, and I thought with the chance that he did get to play, he played very, very well. I thought he was probably their best player on the ice.
And we gave Will Andersen the 3rd star. One of many defensemen, I thought, on the Cougars that played pretty well. They had a couple of lapses, but certainly if you're talking about road hockey and the way you want to do it, the Cougars came in here, got a 4-3 win on the road. It wasn't exciting. It didn't look pretty, but who were they trying to impress?
I was very surprised at how easily
how early on in the game already the Cougars were able to institute a defensive type checking system. I mean, we've seen teams, that's not the first time we've seen teams come in here, or even the Bruins, try to protect a bit of a lead, and it almost always ends up backfiring on you. And they came in here early in the third period and started to protect the lead with one forechecker and coming back. And really, had they not got the 5-minute penalty to Andrew Wolf against them, they may have instituted that right the full length of the period. But it was just when they got into that penalty trouble with Andrew Wolf over there that they had to back off. We had a goal scored, and we almost had another goal scored with the referee's help there, bouncing off his head with a penalty being called, or they may have just played that defensive system for the whole game. That's surprising. I said they're giving up. The teams are coming in here and are dictating the play much too easily.
Well, it's back to the drawing board, I guess, for New West. They had 1-2 in a row that looked like they could cap off a perfect weekend. Maybe of all the 3 games on the schedule this weekend, this one looked like the most, the game they could win the easiest.
They're playing at home, and I tell you, at the start of the weekend, if you would have told the Bruins, would you take 2 out of 3 wins anywhere, they'd have been very, very happy coming off that slump. But once they had those 2 road wins, you would have thought, gee, now if we could just come up big once in our own building, we can make a heck of a weekend out of it. But they did get 2 out of 3, and that's on the positive side, and that's something to build on.
Okay, I'm not sure where we're going downstairs. The interview is ready. Wade Flaherty, we congratulate you and the Victoria Cougars. Your comment, please, on the game tonight.
Well, thanks a lot. It was a good game. We were lucky to pull it out there. I thought they were going to sneak one in at the end there, but it was a good, hard-hitting game, and I'm pleased to come out on top.
Good for the Cougars on the road to check as well as they did. I think your teammates in front of you did a pretty good job of clearing rebounds and not giving them too many chances.
Yeah, my defense has been great, and they've been doing it all year long. They've been clearing out the rebounds one after the other, and that's all I ask.
On that third goal that the Bruins looked like they had scored, there was a roughing penalty, but it looked like Andrew Wolf's 5-minute major was a bit of a cheap call too. What was your views 200 feet down the ice on Wolf getting that major?
Well, I didn't really see it. It looked to me like as if their defenseman had pushed Wolf in. And from my point of view, I just thought it should have maybe been 2. I actually thought they had 2.
Bill?
Wade, we were quite impressed with your team's defensive play in the third period. You went to a one-man forechecking system and had wingers come back. Was this something your coach stressed in between periods, that that's what you planned on doing?
Yeah, we had a 3-1 lead going into the third, and that's what we had planned, one-man forecheck, and that's the way it went.
Right in towards the end of the period there, I know it's a little tough to hear with that machine going by, there was a scramble to your right. It looked like from here, and in fact, a couple of people were showing it right now. A number of people thought, including us, that it went in. You made a heck of a stick save, it looked like. Can you replay that a bit for us?
Well, he had come in from the side, and he caught me going the wrong way, and I thought he was going the other way, and I just luckily got my stick and my leg out there at the same time. And then I hit it.
Did it hit your pad or your stick?
Yeah, it hit right on the end of my toe. I was lucky to get it, I thought.
Well, listen, we hear you turn 20 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a better birthday present that you would have liked to give yourself and your team gave you tonight.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Wade.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Wade Flaherty, the #1 star tonight in a game which he didn't have to face a lot of great chances, but when he did, he stood up to the test. Well, we'll be back in a week, Bill, and hopefully the Bruins have regrouped by then.
I think they will have. I know, by the way, Victoria's schedule gets pretty tough. We just want to mention 3 of their next 6 games are against Kamloops, so they really needed this one. But yeah, I think we got Lethbridge here, the Canes, a week from tonight. We're looking forward to seeing them, and we think the Bruins might, with the 2 wins out of 3, have things a little turnaround and put on a real good performance that night.
All right, Bill, I enjoyed your comments throughout the night. The final score was Victoria 4, New Westminster Bruins 3. On behalf of our producer-director, Paul Bertel, and Bill Wilms, and the fine Western 4 staff, this is Dan Russell bidding you a so long from Queen's Park Arena in New Westminster.
Meals for the production crew provided by the Burger Haven with 2 locations, 77 10th Street in New Westminster and 10028 King George Highway in Surrey. The Burger Haven, you'll be impressed.